everyone, and welcome back to D&D&D&D&D campaign number 2 of Black Ink and Blue Blood. When we last left off, the party, defeating the security droid guarding the stone pillars, managed to solve the Elvish descent puzzle to start their literal descent into the city of Edict. After meeting up with a pair of peacekeepers, they found themselves in a advanced high-tech city unlike any they've ever seen above ground, supposedly built on and in the ruins of ancient advanced civilizations that came before. This city and this faction in general composed of the remnants of deserters and traitors of various militaries, although seeming to be primarily Elvish, living down here, waiting for what they see as the inevitable fall of the military stratocracies above ground for them to rise and take their place. Meeting the commissioner of the peacekeepers, the party told their story, explaining the potential threat that the Scar Concord represents, and bringing the people of the underground up to speed on what could potentially be knocking at their door. And while the steel and high-tech weaponry seems to be keeping the city safe for now, the party does seem to be alert to the idea that the Scar Concord could still threaten even a city this well defended from the inside. The commissioner, in exchange for this information, gave the party information of his own, saying that the newly promoted Officer Neon could escort them to meet a group calling themselves the Brokers, supposedly a cult of surface-obsessed information dealers so thorough and well-connected that they know just about anything there is to know in this region. With questions bubbling that they may want to ask this mysterious group, the party is being escorted by Captain Voter, who leads you to a small room offshooting from the commissioner's office down the hallway, and you find yourself in a somewhat drab room with bunks built into the walls. Very sterile, and Gil, you definitely recognize the distinctly military designs to it. And as you all file in, Voter gives a bow and speaks. All right, this, with your things returned, you can stay here for the night, and it seems like Officer Neon's going to be assigned to escort you, so they'll meet you here first thing in the morning. I'm afraid we can't put you up forever, though, so you may want to figure out a lodging situation for yourselves. Will you all need anything else?
The commissioner told us that you would maybe in the morning take us somewhere where we can convert our above ground money to the money that you use here.
I think Neon's going to do that.
Yes.
Are you going to do that? I don't know.
Unfortunately, as much as I'd like to, that will be part of Officer Neon's repertoire. As a officer of high rank, I can only dedicate so much time to one individual job, and the commissioner is going to want me to prioritize making sure that the surface dwellers who have become alerted to our presence aren't a threat to us. Although, rest assured, I will be keeping tabs on all of you.
Yeah, and just so you know, the reason that we even went to Sunspot was because, like, there were some mages that sensed something. I don't know if they were, like, sensing the city or something, but they were sensing something.
Given that this must have been fairly recent, the commissioner has likely figured this out already. It's likely as anything they were detecting the Foxfire network. We installed it fairly recently in the hopes of connecting the people of the city on a deeper level, but it may be sending up a beacon to those who can detect those sorts of things. And likely as anything, that's going to be the first thing I'm asked to check. We may have to shut the project down if it gets this way. One more time?
Did he say it was called the Firefox?
Foxfire.
Well, I thought I should probably let you know about that because like that was like the whole reason. Well, one of the whole reasons that we went to Sunspot was
Of
because
course.
of that.
Well, rest assured, the signal is relatively harmless, as much as such an ambitious scientific breakthrough can be, and the people are safe down here. The people that walk around you.
If we're asked, what should we tell them that we found?
He kind of crosses his arms and taps his foot in thought for a moment before. If you have to give a report of some kind, then the people you found were dead, but whatever the threat was, you eliminated it.
Okay.
I'll be sure to tell the next caravan. We have one on the way in a couple weeks. I'll be sure to tell them to try not to pass through any public areas so they're not spotted.
Yeah, that was a huge thing for them in crap, I wrote it down. Agnon, right?
Agnan, yes.
Yeah. In Agnon, and it's a pretty big deal to them, if like people come through and then they go missing, people talk.
Yes, of course. That's something that we're having to adjust to a little bit. This city was first constructed back whenever it was more Geogran elves that inhabited this area, who wouldn't think anything of it if a few of their own went missing.
Yeah.
I guess we could just say that it was the bandits and we killed them.
I think that's a pretty good idea. Yeah.
Sounds reasonable enough. But
you said they had nothing to do with you.
yes, although from what the security droid was able to pick up, they've at least heard the stories, but had no luck getting into the manor to solve the puzzle, so they just hid their things in the attic to take advantage of the droid's patrols to protect their treasure, and waited for potential victims to pass through the area.
I guess it's a good thing wasn't there an elf in that group?
All of them, with the exception of the human and the dwarf, were elves.
Kind of lucky that none of the elves ever tried to use the mechanism.
Well, they probably didn't understand the puzzle. A lot of them seemed like ex-fighters. Kind of like Gil.
Gil looks at you like, I figured it out.
You had
I'm
help.
completely
You had
stupid."
help.
Echoing.
Yeah, one mic, please. But he gives a slow nod and says, "Indeed, but they likely didn't want to take the chance of lingering to try and investigate it, especially when all they had to go on was fairy tales and rumorous hearsay."
That's all we had.
You can't
even have the fairy tales.
Yeah, you can see
They're
this.
very
endless
vague
tales.
fairy tales. I mean, I am a scholar, and I mean, I guess it's kind of lucky that I really know at least a little bit about, the fairy tales, as Kayla put it, of Agnan and of Edict and of other places, so.
The captain gives a nod. Indeed, although, if I may be so bold, you also strike me as the kind of group where your curiosity outweighs your survival instincts at times, and that also may have been a contributing factor.
Oh no, I stood back in case he was trapdoor.
You could see him give a slight upturn of the cheek behind his attached mask, but gives a nod to you. Well, you're still traveling with them, aren't you?
Yeah.
Well, they're fun to travel with, but they could put their necks on the line.
I guess your attitude is your own to keep. And he kind of leans against the door frame and puts a hand on the other side. Will any of you need anything else? The commissioner's not going to want me off duty for too long.
I was wondering.
You go ahead.
Is there? They all have like a funny story of like how this place was founded. I find a lot of places have stories like that.
I don't know if I'd call the story funny, but if you're interested in hearing a story at all, I can tell you what I was
I
able to
didn't mean
pick up.
funny as in laugh. I meant funny as in like strange, weird stories.
Interesting,
and all
maybe?
that. Interesting.
Funny as
I
in
guess that's one way to
interesting, I
put it.
think. Yeah.
You said you came from Ogden, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if he's still alive. I don't keep track of the goings on of the surface. But if you haven't met him, then you may have at least heard the stories. And his hands are occupied, but you very much get the impression he'd be putting air quotes as he says, "The Gyogran disgrace that was the general occupying this area, or lieutenant rather, ordered the troops to retreat rather than face a slaughter from the coastal raids of the Sun Dragon troops. But as far as the surface dwellers know, the troops simply abandoned him and disappeared, correct?
Yeah. That's what
Uh,
Gil told us.
he glances to you, Gil, and gives a nod before pointing a finger up and kind of circling to just kind of indicate the entire underground as he speaks. Well, in truth, they had to head somewhere, so they headed inland and stumbled across what was left of Sunspot. And luckily, the security mechanism that you all stumbled across was actually there before the city was even built. And that's how they found their way down here. Before we all came down here, though, it was dusty and lifeless. Technology left littered and abandoned from its previous owners. But the more scholarly of the soldiers took the time to do their research. The Elvish here is ancient and borderline incomprehensible at times, but the brainiacs in the tech department are better at it than me, and managed to figure out the bulk of it, and we managed to make something of it down here. And we weren't the first. In fact, ours is actually the most recent of many, but as the city began to find success, the generals of the other cities who had similar stories to our own got in touch with us, and we joined the coalition that is now the troops of Tredu.
Are you still on the same general who founded this particular area?
Indeed, all of the cities are, actually.
Wow.
You elves live too long.
Sometimes
well,
it doesn't feel like that.
I don't live long enough.
he gives a bit of a shrug and
When you
says,
have all that time on your hands, I don't know how you fill it.
it has its upsides and its downsides. But
Indeed.
we make the most of what we have, whether we be human or elf.
I was going to ask you, in
Oh?
this little communal area, is there like place where we can go to the bathroom and maybe have a shower?
Oh, yes, of course. Just 2 doors down to the right. It's probably a bit more communal than you're used to, but rest assured, it has its own form of privacy. You'll figure it out easily enough.
I make uncomfortable noises.
He puts up his hands and
Hey.
he
For
puts
you,
up
maybe.
We did go to that hot spring already, so it's not like we haven't seen this before.
he puts up his hands. Relax, relax. Like I said, it looks communal, but it'd be a bit
We might
difficult
have
to explain.
dividers.
He points to Caleb and gives a nod. Yes, yes.
Sorry, can you repeat that for me?
They might have. Well, Caleb said they might have dividers, which the captain just confirmed.
Doable,
And
I think.
he gives a nod. I hope you're comfortable, but as I said, you won't be staying here for too long. So if it does make you uncomfortable, it at least won't be a problem for long.
I mean, I think for us personally, I think we just, I think we're going to talk about what we're going to do and, kind of go from there. I don't see us staying here for very long.
Well, we'll see how it shakes out, I suppose. But please, I know you don't exactly have a way to get into touch with me directly, but
Actually, I do.
he gives a nod. Oh yes, of course, your magic. He gives a nod.
Magic.
Lucy was basically pointing out that they can magically get in touch with him because he was concerned that the party wouldn't have a way to get in contact with him if they needed something. So, nodding to you, Lucy, and he says, well, in that case, if any of you run into any trouble that Officer Neon can't wiggle you all out of, then please don't hesitate to call me, and I will come as quickly as I can.
It's very kind of you. Thank you.
Of course. He gives a nod. Wouldn't be doing my job if I didn't, well, keep the peace. And he steps back into the hallway and gives you all a light bow of the head. You all sleep well, but be prepared to get up bright and early. Officer Neon will be here to take you the places you need to go. I believe, if I recall correctly, you need to transfer some of your surface funds. Some of you are interested in doing some shopping, and you have a meeting with the brokers.
I assume we could always convert it back whenever we're done here.
Of course. It's simply a art of convenience for traders coming from the surface.
As long as it can be converted back by the time we leave, because we don't need to be bringing around your currency, and accidentally tell people about you.
What
Of
currency
course.
would that be? Currency.
We wouldn't even do anything, though.
Rest assured, we have no use for your useless lumps of metal with funny pictures on them. He gives you all a bow of the head and says, well, sleep well, and it may be a while before we see each other again, so it was nice meeting all of you.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
And he starts to head out and close the door, but kind of stops midway and kind of contemplates for a moment before leaning his head back a bit and saying, and I know it's a bit difficult for people of your, let's call it, independent minds, but try and take care of each other. That's one thing we got going for us down here. And he places a hand on the opposite wall, and the door shuts.
Okay, I will take off my backpack and try to find a
Are we
comfy
in like the
spot.
room place?
What?
Like, are there
Also-
cots or?
Or are we
Yeah.
just in like a hallway or something? Where are we?
So you're in a room off of the hallway, basically a simple, like bland, undecorated cube with bunks built into the walls. A very kind of distinctly military design, but there is more than enough for all of you, Garrow included.
So, I just had like a wild image when Amanda said that she was gonna put her bag down. I just had this image of just Raccoon being asleep in the back, and she just like plops it down, and Raccoon just screeches like ah!
Is Raccoon in the bag?
Like some
Apparently.
Raccoon has been in that bag this entire time when I was gone.
Schrodinger's raccoon.
No, she's been fighting from this bag. Even if she was moving, she's been fighting from the bag.
Spiritually, she was always in the bag.
Spiritually.
From
As soon as the fight was over, just climbed right back in.
Protection?
But... Alright.
And one more time.
The bunk.
Okay. And Kara, you were going to say something?
I was from the opening of the bag, a small knife comes out.
A little waves around.
All right. So does anyone have anything particularly notable, or are you guys just gonna bunk down and wait till morning comes?
I'm gonna take like an hour or so to read some of my books, like always. And then
Didn't they
I
say there
will
was a
pray.
place to wash up?
Yeah, he said it was 2 doors down to the right.
I will pray.
Take the opportunity because it's been a while.
Okay.
Yeah, I will pray, and then I will look at Raccoon. Raccoon, do you want to go take showers with me?
Is it working?
Yes.
Motherfucker. Okay, the mic is like being. Okay.
Yeah, it's all good.
And she looks at her and she's like, "They're going to be water.
Yes, that's kind of the point of a shower.
Will it be warm like the hot springs?
We could maybe find out.
If it is warm, yes. If it is cold, I hiss at it."
I mean, I feel that. I Lucian mood.
I thought of something funny.
Mhm.
If Caleb left first, they'll find out if it's warm or cold or not.
That's fair.
Okay, so I will
Be like, "Hey, raccoon, it's warm." Yeets her into the cold water.
All right.
I will get my soap out of my backpack and I guess make my way.
Just carrying around soap.
Yep.
Lucian, do you expect her not to?
Yeah, right?
Soap is an item, so.
She carries her own soap.
Is there actually an item that is soap?
Yeah.
I must be
Yes.
surprised,
Yeah.
but more or less, where'd you get this?
I stole it.
She made it.
Oh, made it from what? It's like
Is there crafting in D&D?
It depends on the DM.
Yeah, they kind of.
All right. Okay, easy enough to do. The three of you head out.
This isn't Minecraft.
Head out
I'm gonna
to.
go too.
All right, the four of you head down to start washing up. As you come to the designated area, you actually find that rather than a door, it looks initially to just simply be an open thing, but you actually see two branching pathways in front of you. And those of you who do not speak Elvish, you see signs, one hanging over each, that simply looks like gobbledygook. But those of you who do speak Elvish can see that these appear to be two different washrooms separated by men and women.
I take offense to that. You called it gobbledygook.
I'm so excited.
Well, it's gobbledygook
Lucian will
'cause
be
it's
like,
Elvish.
Lucian will. I'll point up to him and I'll look right Gil into the eyes and I'll say, "Yes, can you read what that says, Gil?"
Yes. The only issue is elves are junior fluid.
Get out of here, peeping Tom.
Okay, Matthew, then. I
Go
don't
to
even
the
know.
mill and I will see you.
Can you
every time.
confirm or deny, Matthew?
Yeah, Gil's absolutely fucking with her.
Also, I did not
it is
mention
true,
that Carol came along.
One more time.
Go ahead.
I was
What?
mentioning that Carol came along.
Oh, okay. So pretty much everyone sans Zephyr from the sounds of it.
Apparently, Zephyr does not want to be clean.
Zephyr does not play well with others.
Hey,
We already
I
know
have
that.
something I want to do. I don't have time for a bath.
Zephyr is dirty,
Abbott's-
dirty boy.
Valid. I was about to
Dirty as
say
Gil.
that I had the question, but I'm going to save it for in character.
Okay. So let's go into the girls' room.
Yeah,
Gil,
as each
go
of you
away.
as each of you divvy up as appropriate. The bathrooms themselves are actually relatively identical. They are simple, tile-lined, narrow rooms with it actually initially is a little off-putting because none of you have ever experienced a bathroom like this, but we in the real world would recognize this as what is essentially a modern public restroom. Lines of stalls, although where stalls would be, you actually see almost like these sort of narrow cubic chambers with simple plain white smooth marble on all sides except for the front, which appears to be
the women's restrooms always has like a fucking couch or something in it.
with a simple glass door, although the glass is that material that makes it all but impossible to actually see through. At most, you can make out silhouettes.
Lucian is so happy right now.
And
so here's my question:
what's up?
For the toilets, would it be similar to the ones like in the manor because like with the little chain thing? Or
it is recognizably of a similar design, although it appears to have some extra components that you're not sure of the function of, but it looks like you can relatively translate what
I'm gonna spend 5 minutes trying to figure out the toilet.
And those of you looking for a shower, through a sort of less a door and more a clear divide where the tile gives way to simple stone, you can see much larger but no less divided and difficult to see through personal shower areas. Almost the polar opposite of what you experienced in Ogden, which was very open and communal. This is very clinical and only one person. Like it's always one person by themselves.
So happy right now. This almost kind of reminds me of home.
Raccoon, you said you had a thing you wanted to do. I'll just cover that before. I'm assuming we don't need to go through the whole rigmarole of you guys' bathroom routines.
Yes, of course. So Raccoon is gonna look at Kero and be like, I have a question.
Yes.
Does the water do anything to the potency of your poison on your skin? Does it dilute it at all?
No. I need water to survive. I would dry up like dry fish on concrete.
Concrete?
Are you a fish?
No.
I am amphibian.
But fish need
Very
water
interesting.
to survive.
Yeah. Well, fish need water all the time. I think Carol only needs water just a little bit of the time. Right?
Yeah.
Cue Raccoon's kind of confused face and trying to just put things together.
Yeah, just equations.
She's
understand the evolutionary difference between a fish and an amphibian.
What's that meme? Okay. What's that meme with the white lady just squinting in the camera and there's
That's what I was referencing.
Mathematical equations.
And Raccoon, while for a brief moment, whenever you get the water running for your shower, it is cold before quickly transitioning to pleasantly warm, and should you desire it, it can go all the way up to steaming.
Ooh.
She just whole ass was already standing under the water when she turned it on, so she got a face full of cold.
That's the worst.
Lucian, though.
A shriek.
Lucian too. I just imagine both Raccoon and Lucian. Just imagine both Raccoon and Lucian just screeching.
Honestly, in the other bathroom, Caleb would probably also have a very loud reaction to the cold sound.
Yeah, you know the people in this building are getting a huge kick out of surface dwellers who don't know how showers work, getting freaked out by cold water.
I was to say, can Gil hear the girls when they scream?
Oh
no!
Screamer.
You could certainly hear Caleb yelping.
Maybe Raccoon's high-pitched shriek, but it's probably
unless
just
those
a dog
fucking
whistle.
showers are soundproof.
Let's say if DM says it's okay, because I feel like Lucian has a very distinctive scream.
Well, I more mean because there's basically a big divide, and the makeup of this area does not necessarily make for well-traveled acoustics. So at most you can pick up the screams of both the person who came in with you, Gil, and the some of the women in the down the other hallway, but that's the most you're able to make out.
I feel like
so here's another thing. While they're showering, Lucian will notice that there's really good acoustics, and she'll go, "Hey, Raccoon, listen to these acoustics." Maybe you should
these sweet acoustics, man.
You should sing.
Also, I imagine Raccoon's shriek is just a little above dog whistle. Or a little below.
Yeah, somewhere in this building, a roach is just like, hmm?
So Raccoon is going to like turn to Luciani and be like, "Can you redo my braid? That got kind of like," and she like picks it up where it's like extremely knotted from all the fighting. Yeah.
Yeah, I will take my fingernails and like try to gently untangle the braid. And when we get back into the room, I will rebraid your hair.
It's kind of like really knotted, so
yeah.
wonderfully, I don't know.
Well,
cut
here's a little trick. Here's a little trick I learned.
But that's knotted.
I know, but watch. I'm gonna take my bar of soap and I'm going to rub some soap into her hair and gently untangle it. It's very meticulous.
The braid.
It's basically the equivalent of putting shampoo in somebody's hair and basically shampooing her hair and untangling it that way.
You do it with
better
conditioner. Yes.
Yeah. See? All better.
Listen, do you want to know how tempted I was to be like, have Raccoon just like go to where their bags are, take a dagger, and just Mulan that shit?
But if you would like,
over
we
here
go back to the room.
And it's like these people, like this culture knows what fucking conditioner is.
Well, I mean, shampoo is very, it's not uncommon, especially to those who are, nobles. Anyways, so I will say to Raccoon, if you would like me to, when we get back to the room, I will braid your hair again. Would you braid mine?
Ending poorly.
Rip.
All right. All right. Good. Yeah. All right. While their mic is getting fixed, Zephyr, your.
Am I heard?
Yes. Now you're heard.
Okay.
Yes.
Hello.
Did you hear what I said?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it sounds like she could hear us. Her mic turns off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Raccoon said yes. Of course.
Cool.
All right. So, Zephyr, all of your companions leave, seeming eager to get themselves washed up and comfortable before bunking down for the night, leaving you alone. What would you like to do? Sounds like you have some plans.
I do have plans.
Oh no.
All right. First off, I'm going to go to my bag, and kind of rummage through it, and I'm going to pull out, let's see, my jeweler's tools.
Okay.
And I would like to, I'm assuming they're not refined, but I would like to sort of refine, if possible, or like mess with the topaz.
Yeah, they were given to you specifically to allow you to practice on. So, so yeah, they are okay. Make me a dexterity check. And you have proficiency in jeweler's tools, correct?
Yes.
So you may also add your proficiency bonus to this.
Dexterity, I'm good with this, yes. Okay. But proficiency, 17.
All right. It takes you some time. So what are you exactly looking to do? Just basically make it look better, or do you have like a specific goal in mind?
More or less something that you would probably see on a ring.
Okay, so you're trying to like reduce it down to something that would be appropriate for jewelry?
Yeah.
Okay. It takes you some time, of course, but as your companions begin to wrap up their needs and get themselves refitted, you manage to, while keeping it at a relatively decent size to up its value and glamour a little bit, create a round, well cut topaz that could quite comfortably be worn on an admittedly somewhat extravagant ring, but nonetheless wearable. And you can hear.
Gems now.
What's up?
He's cutting gems now.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he's got jeweler's tools. Might as well.
Where did he get the gems?
From Merlot's in Ogden.
Yeah, whenever I gave him my Emperor, I also asked for jeweler's tools, and he gave me that and some topaz.
For him to practice.
I'm just imagining Zephyr in the future as a jeweler.
Well, let's see.
That he stole all the jewels he cut.
Probably.
Yeah. Let's see. Let's see if this ends up being the start of a bustling.
Like what he does in retirement. Just he has like a stock of stolen gems that he just cuts and resells.
And Zephyr, just as you're kind of admiring your handiwork, it's a relatively good sized jewel, like I said, almost about the size of a marble. As you kind of roll it around in your hand, and you're honestly pretty proud of it. It turned out pretty well. And you can hear your companions coming down the hall. So in case you want to stow that away before someone knows about your new hobby, or you don't want people to know.
I mean, I put it away. Yes, I put it away. Yeah, I mean, I'm satisfied for the day.
All right. The door opens, and you see the party. Those who keep their hair up in some way with it down at the moment, but otherwise they look clean and refreshed as you all re-enter the bedroom with Zephyr simply sitting pretty much where you had left him.
I'm gonna sit down and invite Raccoon to come sit next to me so I can braid her hair.
Okay. Sips went to grab a drink real quick. So does anyone else have anything particularly notable they want to do before settling down for the night?
Mostly, Gil is going to
Sorry, I
let
heard
his
my
hair
name.
dry.
And Lucian was inviting you to sit on the bed so that they can fix up your hair.
Yes.
Okay. And you were saying, Gil, sorry?
Launch myself at the bed, just plop. Skitter, 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 hoof.
But yeah, Gil?
Yeah, I'm just letting my hair air dry.
All right. You all...
Were there towels in this bathroom?
Yes.
I'm just imagining all of us just having like a fucking spa day.
I mean, compared to what you're used to, it basically does feel that way.
Lucian has her towel on her head.
Just
a little twisty thing.
Squeeze dry thing.
Mm-hmm.
Just starts dripping and then lets it finish in the air.
Mm-hmm.
If Lucian does the little twisty thing, Raccoon's just gonna stare at her with like big eyes, just like.
Yep.
How in the world?
You've never done this before, Raccoon?
Get the rope out of a towel in your hair.
It's really fun.
Just Goyles being Goyles, learning how to do towel wraps.
Look,
Cute.
I'll do it for you. Look, and then I will go ahead and I'll take my towel off, and then I'll do the twisty thing for Raccoon and kind of shake it.
Fair enough.
Now you have the twisty thing on your head.
Sorry, Mike went out again.
No, it's okay.
She's just like standing there, just like, oh, big eyes.
Like shower turban.
You're amazed by the shower wizard.
Yeah,
you got the shower turban going.
Sorceress. Thanks.
Fair enough.
Towel magic. Towel magic.
Towel turban.
You want to see something really funny?
Crack me with it.
Okay, I'm gonna take your towel. Okay, I'm gonna take the towel. Hey, Gil, come here.
Oh boy.
This is what I think it's gonna be.
Come here.
I'm sure it is.
Are they gonna do
Turn
the pop?
Turn around.
Yep, sounds like
So I
it.
can see your backside.
Sounds like it.
That's new.
I'm gonna roll up my towel.
Smack his ass be a dexterity check. Because I can speak from experience, you can screw it up.
Yeah.
I mean, it's harmless, so it's whatever.
I used to do this to Lucifer all the time. It's
is
I
like
want to see if she actually
harmless.
manages to do this.
Do you want me to roll a dexterity?
Okay, well, I'll say, Gil, if you're actually attempting to resist it, then
I'm mostly curious.
You don't know what's gonna.
well, no, yeah. Well, I was telling Caleb the same thing. Like, it's harmless, so I'm not really like gonna make you roll for it. It's not like it's like
You
affecting
can
anything.
screw it up though.
You can screw it up, but it's not like really relevant if they do here or not.
Yeah.
I
roll it up and and then she just cackles.
Man.
He used to do this all the time to Lucifer. He hates it.
The snaps can hurt though.
Oh yeah, it hurts. Do you squeak?
Do you squeak? I mean,
what happens?
You can hurt the person
well,
with the towel.
They never made. They said it was harmless. They said it was harmless. So.
Wait, what?
Do that again.
No.
Do that again.
I throw the towel at him.
All right.
True.
And Raccoon's just gonna like try to mimic her, but all she does is just sits there twirling the towel.
But with both of your hairs now free, you may commence braiding up each other's hair. Again, it's you're not in a hurry, and it's slow and methodical, so I'm not going to make you roll for it. You are able to do each other's hair up very nicely.
I do like little pigtail braids for Raccoon.
And as you all sit, those of you who had showered, letting yourself dry off, and Zephyr, just kind of proud of yourself for your work with the topaz. What's up?
Is it the ones on the side of the head, or the ones that just hang down?
Like the ones that just hang down. I could do
okay,
the ones
good.
on the side of your head.
No.
Okay.
I was about to be like, but I'm not Pippi Longstockings.
No, it's the ones that hang down.
The atmosphere in the room, despite the room itself being very bland, and you imagine it could be very oppressive if you had to get used to it, the atmosphere is relaxed and calm. And if nobody has anything in particular that needs doing,
I want to talk to the group about something, actually.
All right. Although I will add, as you guys are putting your things away, you all are delighted to discover that there's actually personal little cubbies below each of the bunks for the storage of your stuff. It's not particularly massive, like you couldn't exactly fit like a full pack's worth of stuff, but it's enough to store like everything aside from like, you know, your particularly large cumbersome equipment.
Okay.
I was about to say, like, you know, Raccoon's whole ass gonna be sleeping in that.
Oh, of course. So they, guys, I wanted to talk to you about tomorrow.
Tomorrow?
Yeah. The commissioner told us about these people, the brokers. I don't know about you guys, but I really think that we should visit them, or at least some of us. Like, if some people want to go shopping, they can do that. Or if, cause like
Why
I know
not do
Carol.
both? There's lots of time in the day.
Well,
I guess we could do both.
Well,
Not really a time constraint, is it?
You sounded really interested in it, and I know for me, I am very interested in it. Because I have some questions that I feel like they could probably answer. But the thing is that it could be very dangerous because the commissioner told us that they ask for favors, so we don't know what kind of things that these guys are going to be asking us for.
I don't think their favor would be us either, like putting ourselves into like a shit ton of danger, maybe.
Well,
I mean, they might, but
wondering if it's going to be like a break the law kind of thing, because I don't want to break the law.
We've already done that.
Well, I mean, I don't want to break the law here because I don't want to like lose my memory of this place. It's really great here.
I
Like,
think
I don't want
we
to ruin this
should
for
go see what this place has to offer to buy, and then we can go talk to those people and see what they ask. If they ask us to do something we don't know to do, then well, we're just gonna have to pass it up.
We can ask them what they would expect in exchange before asking our questions.
Well,
It may be very
that's how they
dependent.
work.
Then let's do it. It's better to ask them and see than like, whoa, I just stuttered. Then and C, then just go about not having our questions answered. We can do both.
Yeah, but like I know for me, I have lots of questions. Like who's the leader of the Scar Concord? I feel like
Do
it's
you
that lady that we
think
keep
they would
seeing.
know?
Well,
Who?
Maybe. Maybe.
that's
Maybe
why
they
we're
don't
here
know
to
about the
ask.
Scar Concord.
If
We don't know what they know.
if they do
Because-
know that lady, doesn't that mean they are part of the Star Concord?
Well, not necessarily, because the said the saying goes, if two people know then Yov, these guys know it. So like I don't know if it's like because they're like super smart or like if like they have ears everywhere. Like there's so
Probably
many
something like that.
possibilities.
Cue raccoon just imagining like ears lining the walls.
Like there's so many possibilities, and I mean they might not even know about the Scar Concord. So maybe like we can give information for information. I don't know. What do you guys think?
I see no point. I see no point in shopping, but the information I have, some information I can maybe offer, and I would like asked.
I
I
want
want
to
to
see
shop
what
and
they
I
have
want to talk to
sell.
them.
Feel like we all have information that is very important and that maybe they don't know, but I don't know if I want to take that risk of maybe them not knowing it. You know, is that a huge risk? We don't know.
A huge risk
And
of
what were you going to say, Caleb?
I was going to say, well, I'm going to see if they have the shop, and then I'm going to talk to them. I don't know what the rest of you are going to do, but that is what I'm going
I
to
want
do.
to look for something specific. I had a cloak not too long ago, and they took it from me. The stupid bugbear took it from me. So I want to see if I can't find another one.
A cloak.
It's a very special cloak.
Well, you probably shouldn't have gotten it stolen then.
Well, it wasn't exactly my fault. Not entirely, at least.
Never said it was your fault, you know. Still got stolen.
Well,
from
they
you.
didn't take clothes; they just took items.
Oh no, they took like anything that isn't like common
Yeah,
clothes.
with magic cloak. So
Yeah.
I would like to do both, though, because I do need like, and she like fingers like a couple of holes in her shirt, and she's like, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind buying some clothes either, because I don't like this, and she pulls down her shirt like because like her midriff is showing.
I think it's nice.
Of course you think that.
See what? My mic is being a bitch. Sorry.
yeah, you're fine. All right. Also, Kara, you've been quiet. You good?
I was thinking. There is no harm in at least seeing what kind of favors they would want. Like Caleb says, we can always not do them.
True. But there isn't much. I feel like there isn't much we couldn't do.
True.
Well, just because we can do it doesn't mean that we should.
Oh, and breaking a law or two scares you that much?
It doesn't scare me, Zephyr. It's just something that I'm not willing to do.
So it
I know that
scares
you and Gil and I don't know who else is into that kind of thing, but you know, I am not that kind of person. I like to follow the rules and I like to follow the law because, like I said, I like my memory how it is. And
Maybe you can request that whatever they ask of you not be something illegal.
But I feel like, you know, maybe they don't. I don't know. I feel like
Well,
that's...
if it works on if like two or more people know something, then they know it. Well, most of us know now here that you're not willing to do that kind of thing, so maybe they'll know that.
That is very good logic. Raccoon on the head.
Well,
This is Raccoon's whole ass logic.
yeah, the innocent
Love
logic.
it though.
Literally, she just believes everything she hears.
Raccoon.
Are they still arguing?
Arguably, I think they're just.
I think in the morning, we should maybe get some credits. Do you guys want to go shopping before we go see the brokers?
Yes.
Personally,
I'm
no.
going to.
Okay, so let's all stick together, and kind of like we did in Ogden, and kind of go from there.
Zephyr's going to bed.
Caleb is also going to bed.
Not getting there.
I'm gonna sit up in my bed and I'm going to read for a couple hours, and then I'm going to meditate.
All right.
Hang on. Raccoon is going to search for a cubby that she feels is big enough for her to curl up into, and while she does that, she also is going to like look around on the beds, like she's looking for something.
Okay.
What are you looking for?
Yeah.
The ears. You said they were hearing everywhere.
Raccoon. No, I didn't mean literal ears. I mean like.
I've missed Raccoon.
Okay, here's what I mean. I mean that they have people who hear things and report back to them.
Also, like spies.
Yes.
Mission Impossible theme in the background.
But like on a lute.
Oh, no, the penny whistle.
All right.
Yeah.
So, with something of a game plan approached, and in a fraction of the time it took you guys last time,
Hey, we're improving.
You all begin to drift off one by one. Finally, given that you're in the literal headquarters of cops, like you at least don't feel like you're going to get mugged in your sleep. So you all sleep relatively comfortably. And the night passes without incident. You may all take a long rest. And Officer Neon, fresh off of your talk with the commissioner, you ready to begin the day one of being this group's tour guide. And
oh boy.
I'm sorry. I'm so sorry.
And
all the pressure is on you now, Jacob.
And
how does it feel?
And you head to the VIP bunker to fetch your new guests. As all of you are just starting, to wake up, as obviously no sunlight really flows down here. The closest you get, there is a window facing outside. The closest you get is as the city begins to awaken and people turn their lights on, it begins to reflect off of the crystals on the ceiling, which in turn creates the sort of illusion of a brightening sky. As you all begin to wake up, as the door slides open.
Here's my question, though: does Keen Mind, because I have Keen Mind, do I still know what time it is?
Yeah, like you can still keep track of the time. It's just like,
oh, here we go again with that Keen Mind.
Bitch.
Listen.
Listen.
Don't worry.
Linda, honey, listen.
As the door slides open to reveal Officer Neon.
Is there a light shining into the room now?
Yeah, it's basically the equivalent of a daylight sky. As
no, from him opening the door.
Oh, not brighter than the light you're getting from outside.
Well, either way, there's light coming in, so Caleb just does that thing where he covers his head with the blanket.
I'm already up and packing my backpack and making sure that I have everything on. Ready for the day.
Everything on, ready for the day.
All right.
I am just following Lucian around through this entire thing, just kind of like fiddling.
At least they get along.
One by one, bits and pieces.
There's little groups here and there that get along, just not the full
No,
party.
Raccoon is still viably pissed about everything that happened. She's just dealing with it now.
Yeah.
Raccoon doesn't like anybody, apparently.
So you all slowly, some faster than others, awaken and gather your things. Neon, used to this sort of paramilitary lifestyle, sort of like vaguely irritated as some of them like take a while to like force themselves up and
should have been up hours ago.
Do you have any tea?
No.
Like, so I can wake up?
Wake up.
Or like some breakfast? That would be great. I'd love
Some breakfast.
You can
I'd
make
love
your
some
own.
Breakfast.
Yeah, I'd love some fruit and some tea to wake up.
Is there meat?
This isn't a
I'm
bad
sure there's plenty
breakfast.
Where can we get some breakfast?
in the market. I'd imagine.
I
The
imagine.
market.
Wait, there's no like tavern or anything that we can go to it or something?
Kitchen, I'm good at cooking.
Oh God, Matthew, do I happen to have a map of the
Yeah.
city on hand?
I will say, you've heard the colloquialism of a tavern, and while there is no tavern in Edict, you do know in many parts of Lower Edict there are just bars and nightclubs that would serve the same function. However, you do also know that in the Peacekeeper headquarters that you're in right now, there is that cafeteria where you could probably convince them to feed the VIPs before they make themselves scarce.
That is a fair point. If you'll follow me, then I suppose I could bring you to the cafeteria.
Right. That's awesome. All right. Come on, Raccoon. Caro, you
I
got
like
it?
how whenever they woke up, they're all like, "Do you have breakfast? Do you have tea?" So
Yeah. Imagine being fresh from traffic patrol cop, and your first job is babysitting this bunch of greenhorns.
Zephyr just
Basically, she's
frustrated.
wanting coffee and toast.
Why is Zephyr frustrated?
Well, it's just a lot of time wasted.
All right.
Good food.
Sarah's taking the time in this morning to spread moisture around her body, so it looks like she's just kind of rubbing herself.
All right. As you all
That moisture like butter.
Moisturize me.
George, the water didn't dilute you.
No.
as you all go through your morning rituals and get moving, Neon, you take the group quote unquote downstairs. You all, those of you who are still uncomfortable with the whole elevator thing, kind of quietly groan. Although thankfully, other than this and the one down to Lower Edict, you probably won't have to take one for another while. And you're all led back into that big open area you had passed through with Voter before. And while it's a lot less loud and social this time, either because it's early in the morning or because Neon is not quite as popular as the captain, as you all find a place for yourselves to sit so that Neon can fetch.
There's a cup in Lucian's hand, and it's like full of this black liquid, and she just kind of goes up to Neon. What is this? It's not tea.
Would it happen to be black coffee?
Yes, it is black coffee.
Okay. Only the worst thing to drink on the face of the planet.
Only the worst thing to drink on the
I take an experimental sip.
Drink
You two should say.
Why did
you
people
are-
drink it?
I don't know.
You are taken
like
aback by this incredibly bitter, overwhelming taste.
Ugh.
I
However,
can speak from experience. Black coffee is something,
But
especially with no
I
sugar.
feel like this is something that Lucine will get addicted to.
yeah, I was gonna say, but as you kind of like grimace your way through it, you find yourself surprisingly energized and perked up.
I mean,
Can I try a sip?
it's a journey, that's for sure. Sure.
Raccoon's
just
gonna
don't
make
drink-
grabby hands at
They
it.
have like those like
yeah, just don't drink the whole thing.
dispensed coffee,
Just don't drink the whole thing, okay?
like the
'Cause
little
takes-
pumps.
She doesn't drink the whole thing, but she takes a big gulp, makes a face at it, and is just like, ew.
I'm
Let
gonna
me have more.
Let me have
Here,
more.
Let's go. Let's
We're all
both
gonna
get
get
some.
addicted to black coffee.
I'm gonna get more. I'm gonna get some coffee for me and Raccoon.
And Neon, as you kind of watch this impending disaster, you can see a few of your comrades kind of raising their eyebrows as these people who were suspects last night are now raiding the coffee machine.
Lucy's on her third cup.
I just kind of like do that, like like palms up, like just full arms involved shrug.
And you
like,
see,
go with it.
and you see like a bunch of them kind of give like yeah, like kind of nod like they get it.
They understand.
They're probably like damn surface dwellers.
And as you
plate of fruit and on her fourth cup now.
and as you
No, twitchy.
as you head to get food for the group, you do get a few pats on the back and congratulations from those who got the news of your promotion.
Oh, they're not completely horrible with people who aren't elves.
Food.
Yeah, I don't say anything, but like, you know, just kind of do that, you know, you look down and just like, oh, you know, that kind of thing.
Oh no! Oh!
This is the first day on the job.
Oh no!
And for fun, Neon, if you have anything particular in mind, you can pick what the group gets for breakfast. Unlike the surface, you have access to a decent variety of modernish foods, although the access to meat is somewhat rare, so you're pretty sure you won't be. You could try, but you probably won't be able to convince the chef to part with something so valuable to perfect strangers. But you could pretty much negotiate for anything else.
I need to check real quick.
My charisma is one of my lowest stats.
Access to meat in this place is very rare.
Yes.
Rare. Rare meat.
Drop the ball.
Why are you saying drop the ball?
It's an in-joke with me and Neon, where like if we say a joke and no one laughs, then we just keep repeating it until we get a reaction. And our go-to like phrase for that is "drop the ball."
I'm honestly not even going to try and negotiate all that much. Again, low charisma.
Yeah, that's fair.
So I'm just gonna kind of try and grab one of whatever I can and just plop it down in front of him. Just here, figure it out.
Have
fun. Fruit or
yeah.
bread.
You guys are all handed a pretty respectable variety of breakfast
It's
foods.
a tray of black coffee.
Drinks it all.
Now you get there is actually several fruit. Yes. You do see a few presumably edible.
A monkey always asking about fruit.
Presumably, yeah, I was gonna say, or they're a vegetarian.
Why not just ask about vegetables?
She does.
You just said fruit.
Yeah,
yeah,
vegetables
this time.
suck.
It's morning.
Yeah.
You don't eat broccoli for breakfast.
You can totally eat broccoli for breakfast.
No, we're not having another food debate on the stream. That's not happening. You all get a healthy variety of fruits, a few edible looking mushrooms, and what almost appears to be simple like slabs, like almost discs of food. Although, again, a modern eye would recognize these as pancakes.
Caleb is going to
Lucy's gonna
grab
try the
the
pancakes.
disc.
What is this? Is this bread? I taste it.
Caleb is going to grab the disc and he's going to just, like a fucking animal, just pick it up with his hand and take a bite out of it.
Yeah. Same with Lucy because she thinks it's
Raccoon.
toast.
The raccoon is going to poke
Wait,
despondently
they
at
have
everything.
syrup on them.
It's for those of you who ate it, it's a little on the dry side, but tasty.
Honestly, by their standards, it's probably amazing.
Oh yeah,
It's really good with this black
Because
stuff.
a
What
lot
did
of
you
them are
call
probably
this
just
black
used
stuff?
to eating raw bread.
Hey, Neon, what did you call this black stuff? It's really good.
It's called coffee.
What's the disc called?
I want more. Can I have more?
Sure.
Yeah,
Don't
Ne-
get
Neon,
lost.
Neon, you're a little concerned. This is if Lucien gets another one, this will be their third cup in like less than 20 minutes.
Fifth.
Honestly, though,
It's
I'll
a
speak
fifth.
from experience. I'll speak from experience of people I know who drink coffee. Mostly my mom. That's actually normal.
Yeah.
Depends on the person.
Please,
yeah.
may
This
I
is
have
new.
some more?
She has like 3 cups of coffee like
have-
in the morning and then 1 on the road.
Yep, I do that too.
Valid.
Actually, not a coffee drinker, IRL. You'd think with me being the artist that I am and doing all-nighters that I would drink that, but no, it's Mountain Dew and Monsters for me.
I don't even like the smell of coffee. I hate it.
Jeremy's
Matthew
the same
hates
way.
coffee.
So, what's up?
So, Mr. Neon,
Oi.
do you have any bugs here?
What?
Do we have bugs here?
You do not.
You do not.
What about outside?
You may occasionally find the odd centipede or worm, but even that's a little on the rare side with the streets paved as they are.
Too clean.
No.
Things like,
No.
fruits. Are they strict carnivores?
If you go outside, you might find some, but not many.
Okay, Carol's gonna go outside.
She's like, all right, bye.
Dejectedly
Yeah,
hanging
dejectedly.
her-
Oh, but before I go, can you give some kind of meat to Carol?
Oh.
I can try.
Had Garo not
My-
eat fruit?
Some jerky rations. Does he want any?
Yeah, that's just fine.
All right, I give him some of my jerky
So,
rations.
Caleb's gonna ask Neon, what's this disc called?
Is it a pancake or a
Pancake.
waffle, Matthew? Pancake. It's a pancake.
Do
Eat
you
it with
like
syrup.
waffles? Do you like waffles? Do you
doesn't
like
look like
pancakes? Do you
cake.
like pancakes? Do you like French
Pepper
toast?
is
Do you
going
like
to
French
eat
toast?
It does
Oh,
not look like
rations.
cake. Why is it called a pancake?
Make it in the pan.
Maybe you should ask the cook. He might be able to tell you.
Do they make it in the pan?
I'm sure they do.
Leon, you can see you're getting a lot of weird looks from the other officers as Raccoon is just singing, and you got a frog and a tiger heading towards the door, and like Lucy and Caleb are just intensely arguing with you about the terminology of food.
Arguing, they just asked why is it called that?
I briefly I look away and just like at the others and just mime like unholstering my pistol and placing it to my cheek.
You see another one of the officers who you recognize as being one of the essentially the peacekeeper equivalent of what's the I actually forget the acronym for it. The one that does like the really serious cases. The one that has the show about it. SVU, thank you. Essentially one of the people from that just kind of almost doing like a semi-praying motion, just like essentially quietly, I'll pray for you.
They do the cross over the chest thing.
Yeah, basically, yeah. But other than you guys being you, breakfast passes with minimal incident.
Yeah.
As
I'm gonna
Neon,
take
you kind of
another coffee cup. I'm gonna take a coffee cup and I'm gonna find a lid. I'm gonna take one with me.
and
fill up a water skin.
Yeah, just put it in your water skin. Who needs water?
Shit, that's a great idea.
That's
No, it's
not. It's not.
You're going to dehydrate.
No, I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna put coffee in my water skin.
Oh my god.
Okay.
Do you empty it out first, at least?
Yes, I empty it out.
Watered down coffee. Yeah.
Neon, you watch with ever-growing concern as now about 8 or 9 cups in, Lucian is now just filling a water skin that's supposed to last them 3 days with nothing but coffee.
You really like that stuff.
Raccoon is going to steal like another sip.
It's very tasty.
Good.
She steals another sip, makes a face, and then takes another tentative sip.
Yeah, and Raccoon's just been hesitating their way through like 4 cups.
No, it's two. She doesn't like it that much, but it's two.
It's alcohol that's very addictive.
Yeah, like,
you know what?
seems like Lucian's been the type to be addictive a lot.
Wait. Does the addiction towards the coffee cut out the addiction to the other stuff?
You don't know yet.
I'd rather be addicted to coffee than that Star Blast.
But as you all gather your coffee and your belongings,
I thought you said this was bad drink.
I mean, I don't think it's bad. It doesn't taste bad. I mean, it kind of tastes
Silly.
bad, but that's,
Tastes better.
I kind of don't mind that. It kind of tastes like sour tea.
I'd
That
consider
it was worst drink in the world.
Thing is, I'm also
You
I'm
want
not
to
gonna
try,
eat
Caleb?
any food.
Caleb, do you want to try it?
Caleb will, you know what? Fuck it. Caleb will take a taste.
I will hand him my water skin.
Caleb takes
Water
a
skin.
very cautious step, and he. How do you drink this stuff? It's terrible. How do your people
Because it
drink
comes-
this stuff? Looking to
kinda-
Neon.
What?
Kun
here's the thing,
winces
I
her
like-
way through another sip.
No, listen. I like the fact that it doesn't taste good when you drink it. It tastes good after you drink it. It just
You
kind of like
good,
sits in your mouth.
Neon?
I feel like I could stay awake for like 20 days.
and Neon, you good?
Yes, I'm good.
Yeah, Caleb was asking how the other peacekeepers tolerate this stuff.
Oh,
Matt-
I'm sorry. I didn't know that was
What's
directed at me.
DM, you better get this episode to me. I want to animate this so bad.
I mean,
Yeah, it's this breakfast scene.
Not just that, just the entire episode.
the entire
fair enough.
episode, yeah, you could download it on YouTube.
Let's see how complicated things get.
Well, like maybe not the entire one. but,
yeah,
like,
that's what I
certain
thought.
So it's gonna be like a 3-hour
Up to this
stream.
point. Up to
Yeah,
this
Dude,
point.
it's actually fine. Don't worry. I'm not like mad at you. I just legitimately know how hard it is to animate. But yeah, so, anyways, Neon, you were saying?
Beats me. Why didn't you ask him yourself? Maybe they're just so miserable that this seems to not be the worst thing they've had all day.
No, but like that's valid.
That's kind of sad.
But it's valid.
This is not the worst thing you've ever had. You must have a very sad life.
Oh, you have no idea, my little Caleb. And I take
mean,
a
look
drink
at
from
these
my water
jokers.
skin.
These jokers.
He's like, look
Kinda
at
like
me.
chug.
A bunch of jokers.
Carol, would you please make me a survival check?
Yeah. Nope.
With disadvantage.
Oh, just looking for bugs. I was like, what happened to Carol?
Arrow.
Arrow is hungry. That's
I
what
look away
happened.
from you for 5 seconds.
Wait. You look away from Caro for like 5 seconds and then just suddenly it's either a rock hurtling towards her or Garo just decided, you know what, there's no meat here, let's eat.
Are like bad. You just
foraging and stuff.
Well, yeah,
right?
we're just saying like make a check. Like what? Huh?
Yeah, everyone was just freaking out.
It cuts to Caro with her tongue stuck in the tire of a car being
Wait for
dragged.
you, Caro. We're all just ready to fight for Caro.
It's in the Keurig. It's in the Keurig.
Yeah,
Terror
14,
Protection
by the way.
Squad. 14.
Yeah.
As you wait for the party, Garrow kind of just lounging on the front steps of the headquarters. Luckily, there is that central. Again, it's not like a garden in the traditional sense, but it's dirt at least. It takes you some doing, but you do manage to find a worm among a cluster of
A
fungi.
worm.
Oh, can I do a performance check to do the worm dance thing?
The worm dance?
Yeah.
Sure.
It's like a competition. I don't remember if that's what it's called. It's a competition
I know what
where
you
you're
mean,
trying to
don't worry.
summon worms.
Yeah, go ahead and roll for it. I'll explain for context for Caleb and those at home. There is a real-life competition where you do dances to summon worms from the earth, and there's this one young girl who's like insanely gifted with it and always wins every year.
I got an 18.
You're
With the worms.
while the environment you come from, worms are not the go-to food source, as you know, there's much bigger fish to fry. You are at least familiar with the basic tenets of this, and you do a small dance, and there's a bit of a delay, but after a while, 7 additional worms slowly dig their way to the surface.
Can I have an idea? So Raccoon, after a moment, follows after Carol, and sees her doing the worm thing, and she's like, "No! This is how you do it. This is how you do it." And she takes out a worm grunt.
A what?
A worm grunt. This is something that I actually know how to do in person, so I feel like Raccoon would know how to do. A worm grunt is this stick with notches in it, and you take another stick, you stick the notched one into the ground, take the other stick and rub it up and down it. The vibrations make the earthworms come to the surface.
Okay, I'll tell you what, Carol, make me an additional performance and we'll count this as advantage.
Are we doing the worm dance?
I don't know. It
Yeah,
sounds like
we're
maybe
summoning worms.
there's like the worm dance, and then there's someone who has like
a worm grunt.
A worm
Yeah,
grunt,
a worm
I guess,
grunt.
somehow has
Just
a
whole
worm
lot just
grunt.
on the fucking stick.
Unfortunately, that was a 1.
Yeah. Well, no.
Can I roll?
Well,
Can
no,
I
I was
roll
going to
and
say.
pick them up myself?
No, I was going to say. There's still only the worms that came to the surface. Caro, you kind of look around, and just from the kind of general lack of activity, you get the impression that there's just simply not a lot of like animal activity down here, whether that's an intentional effort on the part of the locals or simply the circumstance of their development is difficult to tell. But you get the impression that like even getting this much was fairly impressive.
Oh well. Thank you for helping.
I tried. I'm so upset.
It's
You
okay.
want to try this? I hand her my rubber skin.
Yeah, the party begins to file out of the headquarters. Neon, your exasperation grows as you see Garrow lounging and gnawing on some of the bacon, and Caro and Raccoon just surrounded by almost a circle of writhing worms digging out of the dirt.
Oh no, Caro's picking them up and eating them at this point.
Are they doing the tongue trick where they go?
No, she just picks them up with their hands.
They don't flick them with their tongue.
I mean, it depends how close they are.
Dogs do.
You know, it's also a sentient frog essentially. So I mean,
Yeah. She's a person.
Heart, got it.
Neon, your the other guy. I can't remember. Well, I should remember his name because I have, my brain. But my brain is going really fast right now, so I don't really like. It's there, But anyway, that guy told us that you would take us to like a place where we can like exchange our money.
That's right.
Yes. Let's get this over with.
I'm thinking you should maybe get some water first.
Why this black stuff coffee you said is really good.
It's not.
It's really good. I like it.
Maybe I should hold on to that for just a few minutes.
I hold on to it, clutch it to my chest. Why?
I'll look up the effects of too much caffeine.
Severe burnout.
I just think it might not be the best thing for you. You've had too much.
They're not drinking too much or something.
All right. So?
Scene just kind of blinks, but I like it.
Oh my god.
Can I get sleight of hand, or I guess sleight of hand to try and just yoink it?
I'll say yes, but you're gonna have disadvantage since Lucien actually sees it coming.
That is absolutely fair. That is absolutely fair.
I think we could do what a fox
It's unfair,
can.
but it's fair. I'm kidding.
Do I roll anything for this?
Well, no, it's basically I have a thing in mind. Don't worry.
Okay, so
I'm trying to see how many cups of coffee one could have before they overdose on caffeine.
Hey, Matthew, are you sure it has to be disadvantage?
Yes, I'm sure a nat 20 does not cancel out disadvantage.
It wasn't a nat 20, it was a 22, but still.
Yeah, Lucien's literally looking right at you and holding it.
He's hyperactive right now.
Okay, I got a 13.
You go to grab it, and Lucien, you're able to keep your grip on it, and the two of you basically end up in a kind of tug of war over it because Neon's grip is tight enough for it to not be yoinked out, but Lucien reacted fast enough to not let it slip through their fingers.
What is he grabbing?
The water skin full of coffee.
I'm gonna come up between the two and take it.
Yeah.
Sleight of hand with disadvantage.
Everyone's just trying to grab this coffee.
Good lord.
You need 10 grams of coffee. And 10 grams of caffeine.
Alright, one sec. Let me get my... You said sleight of hand?
Yeah, disadvantage though.
Alright, so... 21.
Too much coffee is bad for your
And
mind.
18.
All right. As the two of you are wrestling for control of it, the water skin just vanishes from both of your hands, and you all see the pitter patter of Raccoon just sprinting away with the water skin slung under their arm.
Titanfall.
No. With how big it is compared to her, it's slung over her shoulder, like it's just like a little steely bag, like a little thieves bag.
It's not that small, or is that that?
Going above 400 milligrams a day can cause unpleasant side effects: jitters, insomnia, irritability.
Oh no! Oh no!
Heart problems, like heart attacks.
Hey, Matt.
What's up?
When Raccoon takes it, can I take it from her?
No!
If she
You
drinks,
cannot.
the
I will
equivalent
fight
of
against
30
this.
I know this game.
I'm not close enough. I'm not close enough for you to grab me. I ran away.
They drink an equivalent of 30 cups of coffee, they would start to experience vomiting, abdominal pain, alerted, and seizures.
I'm not close enough to Gil for him to grab me. I'm
And let's keep
more
in mind,
than 5
this is
feet
for
away.
an adult. So this is like what would happen to Lucien. I can't tell you how many of these Raccoon could have before dying.
Hey,
Let's find out.
I've had 2 cups, so
I've had 6.
I've had 2. I thought you said 9. You said 9 earlier.
9 by now. 9 by now.
Oh, then you can't say I've only had 6.
can say whatever you want. I'm going to chase
you all sort of half chase, half walk. Zephyr just kind of increasingly irritated as you all make your way back to the.
I hope Matthew's keeping that in mind.
Oh, I am. Rest assured, I am. An observant viewer will notice.
Will he kill your character if you get to 30 cups of coffee?
Let's find out. You guys make your way back to the center of Upper Edict, where the large lift that takes you from lower to upper and vice versa. And I will say,
for this, Matthew.
Huh?
Were you prepared for a coffee addiction today?
Given that I had the stats for it, yes, actually.
Oh no!
He knows it.
You actually have
He knows
stats for
so well.
coffee?
Yeah.
He knows us so well.
He does.
Is that homebrew or is that actually in the game?
At least the version I'm using is homebrew. There may be an official version that I missed, but anyway.
I can look it up.
Well, let's stay focused on the game we're playing. All right. So I will say, Lucian and
Raccoon is actually a coffee item.
Lucian and Raccoon, how do you want to handle
I'm kissing Raccoon.
Oh.
Well,
No!
so that we don't fall into the thing of endless rolls of tossing it back and forth.
I mean, what's going on exactly?
Yeah, basically, Raccoon took the
away.
water skin, and Lucian's trying to get it back from them. I will say, Raccoon, if you do want to still try and hold on to it, then I will say both of you make me a contested grapple. Since Lucian, you're trying to take it from them, you will make an athletics check. Raccoon, athletics or acrobatics, your choice.
Athletics. Okay. Ooh.
Oh,
22.
roll 20, bitch.
All right.
I had a natural 18.
Lucian, you have a firm grip on it, but Raccoon's nimble, dexterous fingers just make it very difficult. And they basically do that thing of like worming their fingers under your palm to basically just force your hand off of it and just stow it into their bag.
Kinda like anime style, like flat, like face palm into the ground. And then I'd like look up and I'm like, Raccoon, I thought you loved me.
I do. What? Coffee.
What?
You need it.
Said I do, but that was a lot of coffee. And it's mine now. And then she takes a sip.
So with
I'm about half the size of a person.
So with Lucian and Gil both in the party, getting the lift to work is fairly simple. You all saw the mechanism when Voter brought you in. And Neon, you do know that the most well-traveled bank in the city is in Lower Edict in the financial district.
Are we good to go see those twins?
I say
Are they on the
no.
way?
Don't think.
Are those twins on the way? I'm asking
yeah,
this to Neon.
Yeah, Neon, I would say, because you know where the brokers are and where the bank is. It's not. It's not like across the city, but it's kind of like on the other side of town, basically. Like it'd be a bit of a walk. It'd be a bit of a detour.
Maybe we can see them on the way out.
Oh, wait.
We'll see.
I want to look at Zephyr and just be like, is it always like this?
You get used to it.
Oh.
Were you really though?
What?
Caleb was like, do you really get used to them though?
Well, I mean, I just more or less ignore them most of the time, but
It's definitely like this when Raccoon is active.
so
Hey y'all.
And not having to be voiced by the DM. Sounding
doing my
horribly
best.
like Lucifer.
Yeah.
All right.
I said this party is so chaotic.
No. I was worried what Sips was saying.
He scared
What
the
did they
shit out of us.
They're criticizing my voice acting of Raccoon.
sounds like
Y'all, I just
I am not criticizing.
Guys,
It's just not a decision I would have made.
Guys, Gil is trying to talk.
Sorry.
What's up?
I just realized something. We left our horse and cart up above.
Yeah? Just realized that?
I'm just saying we can't stay here too long.
Oh, no? Just
there's plenty of grass.
Yeah, there's plenty of
Bag
grass.
of
They'll be
oats in
okay.
front of it.
We left them right where there was grass. They'll be okay.
Oh no, he's definitely dead.
No.
No.
Listen, we gotta keep them in mind.
Do you think Caleb bring out the whole bag of oats for it to have?
Yes.
Yeah.
Even then, we are not staying along anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I want to try to find
That is a lot of
cloak.
oats.
I want to find another cloak, maybe a necklace of protection.
Yeah.
I know that there's this necklace that you can get that basically it protects you from people looking onto you.
Oh.
I want to find one of those.
Alright.
Like when you say protection, I was thinking the plus one, like what?
So eventually the lift doors open, and once again,
probably getting used to it at this point.
And once again, you guys all kind of crinkle your noses as the upper edict is relatively clean and well kept, and now you're back in just
shit.
Yeah. Now you're back in the industrial, nothing but the artificial neon lights to keep the city lit up. Lower edict. However,
That doesn't smell like being near the chemical plants.
Kind of, yeah. It has that sort of ashy, pollution smell. And as you guys step off of the lift, Neon, you're already familiar with this, but the rest of you notice something kind of unusual. Looking around, you do still see the same, major majority of elf population. However, looking around, you don't see any of the people who had those mechanical body parts right now.
This is strange. The people look different now.
Is there a reason that they look different?
Neon, having lived here, you would know, and you can pass on to the group, that it is actually a minority of the population that gets augmentation because of how expensive and medically intrusive it is. But there's been a recent hiring surge of jobs specifically requesting people with those cybernetic implants. So typically the nightlife of the city sees a lot of augmented civilians, as they typically work jobs that they either can or simply prefer to work in the dark, both to keep the public from seeing their often somewhat nasty surgical implants, and simply the practicality of, to be blunt, their jobs not necessarily being on the up and up kind of jobs.
Mm-hmm. They're all at work.
Sounds fun.
I'm familiar with this concept.
I guess we go to the bank, right?
We're waiting for the concept of work.
Yeah.
It may
are
be
you guys
different for the surface because, back in their current time, there almost wasn't a distinction between your work life and your non-work life.
Yeah.
I'll say, you can you can catch on. Basically, Neon's phrasing was clear enough to where you can at least pick up, oh, they're just busy doing other stuff, so they're not walking around in the street right now.
Kind of a medieval setting. It really was just you almost worked your whole life.
But yeah, so if you guys are content to head to the bank, Neon, you can easily show them the way. Heading towards the financial district of Lower Edict. It's actually not too far from the lift. And
oh no, not this again.
No, it's not far from the lift, not that you have to take it. And you guys continue just going through this very alien and, for you guys, uncomfortable urban jungle. Although those of you who are a little off-put by the cybernetic implants are a little more comfortable, as at the very least the population is more physically as you're used to. However, you do notice that almost all of them have a sort of almost glazed over expression to their eyes, and Lucian especially, although the rest of you can like logically put it together yourselves, but Lucian as a medical studied person would be the most familiar with this idea. You get the impression that especially the people who don't travel to the surface, their eyes are probably starting to slowly like dwindle in effectiveness from
like
a life
Palmer.
around.
Like
Yeah.
Palmer.
Yeah, kind of. Although it's less that their eyes are outright like melding, and more just they almost just look like they're not really looking at anything. Like the best way I can describe it is that if you looked at one of these elves, if you didn't know any better, you might immediately assume from the kind of almost milky, unfocused texture to their eyes that they're blind.
Okay. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
But other than that, they put you off a lot less distinctly than the ones from the previous night that reminded you a lot of your brother, Lucian. And you guys find yourselves at a large marble building that Neon is able to identify as the Bank of Edict. I will say for the I don't nobody likes going to the bank in real life, and while I appreciate investment in the setting, I doubt anyone wants to do it in Fantasyland either. But I will give you guys a basic rundown of what you get.
Nothing.
If you convert all those of you who choose to can convert all of your surface currency to the currency of the troops of Tredu. Gold is a credit, one gold to 1 credit. Silver is a half credit, and I don't believe anyone has any, but if you're interested, platinum is a premium credit. However, those of you who have any copper pieces, they just refuse to take them.
Okay, so
Copper's not even worth it to them.
Well, they explained that they used to have a credit for that, but it got basically like phased out fairly recently.
Okay, so I will take my 416 gold and I will convert that to credit.
Yeah, so basically you still have the same relative wealth, but they instead of having like money pouches, they just hand you little data pads that you can while none of you know how to work it, Neon is able to assure you that they know how to work it and could help you guys negotiate the transfer of funds if you want to do any shopping.
Lucien just kind of
to the
looks
modern
at it.
era.
Lucien just kind of looks at it and she's like, "What am I supposed to do with this?"
Caleb's like, "Don't let me forget to get my gold back."
I'll remind you if you remind me.
Would we be able to like transfer it back if there's any that we end up not using?
Yeah, that was explained to you a couple times earlier.
Raccoon wasn't paying attention.
Yes, you can transfer it back on the way out if you choose to. And Zephyr, if I recall correctly, you're just not doing the transfer at all.
Nope.
All right,
That
I'm
is
going
gold.
to transfer 160.
All right.
Of my gold.
I'll transfer about 250.
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm gonna do 200 too.
I'm doing all of it, so.
I'm doing all.
The elvish woman working the counter helps you guys all get set up with accounts. Caro, are you going the Zephyr route of not doing it at all, or are you just gonna? What's your setup gonna be?
I'll do half of my money. Give me a hot sec.
Okay.
Check.
Yeah, like I said, the relative value will remain unchanged. So just keep track on your end of how much of it is credits and how much of it is physical currency.
If Caleb winds up needing more, he'll just come back and get more.
Fair enough. So while we're waiting for Caro, hold on. Sorry, I had to sneeze. Those of you who want to do shopping, what are you guys looking for?
Caleb is browsing as to what they have.
Okay. I will give you a fair warning for previously established reasons that I can't necessarily just give you a grocery list, but I will let you roll just to see if anything
What
catches
kind of
Caleb.
stores do they have for now?
Because of the kind of city it is, like, you know, I don't know if you've ever been to a place like New York, but there's a lot. Like, if you searched hard enough, you could probably find something to sell just about anything.
I guess Caleb will start looking at. Caleb, is there like places to get like kind of weapons or something.
Yeah, you did pass a few that you were able to you and Gil both were able to pretty immediately recognize as weapon stores, although they didn't look necessarily super trafficked.
Caleb's gonna have a look at those.
Okay. And
Of course,
Lucian, you're looking.
This being a modern city, there might be a modern problem Caleb might run into.
Well, let's find out. Gil, I know you were looking for guns as well, so I'll keep that in mind. Lucian, you're looking.
These people seem pretty advanced, so they probably have some pretty cool weapons.
Mm-hmm. And Lucian, you're looking for magic items. Is there anything else anyone else is looking for? I know you guys also wanted to do some clothes shopping, but
yeah,
so
magic weapons and stuff like that.
Okay. Okay. If that's everyone covered, then what's up?
I was like, yeah, I was just thinking like your flame tongue's not enough.
Nope.
Okay. So those of you who want to get clothes, it will be about, for a full outfit that will blend in down here, it'll be about 5 credits for each of you.
Caleb will do the looking at clothes later.
Okay. Well, for the sake of convenience, if you want, you can just go ahead and knock off essentially 5 gold. Raccoon, I believe you wanted to grab some clothes as well.
Yeah.
Look at what they had. He wants to see how it looks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Same with Lucian.
Yeah.
I need
Zephyr's
new
happy.
trousers and a shirt.
I'm happy about this.
Maybe a jacket. Dude, what if she got like a Gil-sized jacket and just ran around in that?
I want to know, are there shorts or skirts?
Looking around, there are. However, they're not more expensive, but they seem to be a bit harder to find, and most of them seem to be kind of secondhand garments from the surface.
Ugh.
As you guys look through the clothes,
Sorry, that was really Lucian. That was really Lucian.
As you guys look through the clothes, you notice a lot of the surface garments are definitely visibly secondhand and saw a lot of travel to get down here. The clothes they make down here, because they're just visibly A, new, and B, definitely mass produced. It actually kind of catches you off guard, as even those of you who don't have experience with the big cities just kind of expected a place like this to be very fashion oriented and cultural. But looking through the clothes, it appears to be fairly repetitive and bland outfits. Very simple, humble, pants, boots, with sweaters, and long coats meant to be worn over them.
Yeah, see, what I'm looking for is summer attire.
I'm not even going to look towards the bland stuff. I'm just immediately going to the surface stuff of child fit.
Yeah. Yeah, if you guys are willing to dip into the secondhand surface garments, you can find both for brevity and because it's again, you have all the time in the world, so it's not like you're in a rush or anything. It's easy enough to find just about anything you're looking for within reason, as long as you're not looking for formal attire or something crazy specific and flashy.
No, I'm just looking.
They don't seem to do flashy down here.
Yeah,
it seems very utilitarian.
Yeah, I'm just looking for shorts and a shirt that doesn't show my midriff.
Yeah.
And
Easy.
I'm looking for trousers and a shirt.
Okay, easy enough to do. You guys are able to acquire those easily. I will say, if you're willing to just grab that, the price will be knocked down to only 2 credits apiece. The surface material seems to sell for relatively cheap.
Also, they're kind of baggy, but she makes it work.
All right. With clothes sorted out from the sounds of it, Caro, what did you decide to do money-wise?
Oh, so half of my money is about 2,342 gold, so...
Okay. Easy enough to do. You get yourself set up and follow the group as they do their shopping. Once you guys have clothes, you guys head to the weapon shop that Caleb and Gil had spotted earlier. It appears to be a bit out of the way, not like shady or specifically hidden, just kind of like, attention doesn't seem to be going out of its way to be drawn to it. And whether because of that or intentionally so, the place looks a little dilapidated, and you see a sign hanging somewhere. One more time.
I was making a joke. I said, "You damn liberals."
And you see a sign hanging over
big fans of arming themselves.
A somewhat destroyed neon sign, kind of flickering slightly, that you can barely make out, says "Passed over."
I wonder if that's just ironic.
No idea. Let's go in.
Sure.
Caleb will go in and see what he can get.
All right. Heading inside, you guys find yourself in a somewhat on the dusty side, but otherwise organized assortment of, to your surprise, a fairly healthy variety of surface weapons. However, looking towards the counter at the other end of the store, you see a very broad-shouldered elf wearing the usual coat over a simple sweater outfit that you saw being sold in the stores. However, he is wearing one of those kind of floppy fisherman hats, and long brown hair flows freely over his shoulders and back and disappears behind the counter as he kind of leans over the counter to stare at all of you with slightly bloodshot-looking eyes. And
is he high?
It's a bit hard to tell, but you all can see him distinctly chewing something. And he kind of stares at all of you for a minute before saying, "Yeah, how can I help you?"
Caleb's gonna look at what kind of stuff they got for weapons.
Okay. Again, for brevity, I will say that at least from what you can see, it's a pretty healthy variety of pretty much any weapon you could acquire on the surface. Again, appearing most of them to be secondhand, acquired from merchants and traders. However, what catches most of your attention, because I know this is the reason you came here, behind him, hung on the wall, where people browsing the store can't just grab them, you see several what you can identify visually to be firearms, but they look like no firearm you're familiar with. You see...
Out of character, do they look like modern firearms?
No, actually. Looking at them, you see 3 varieties hung on the wall behind him. One... and I will say, for Neon's benefit and just for player entertainment, what they actually are after I give their descriptions. The first one, which appears to be hung the highest, appears to... Imagine if you took a double-barrel shotgun and a very big crossbow, but turned the crossbow sideways and then stuck the two together. So, you got like the 2 barrels, but then the like V shape of the crossbow forming. And you can see several glowing cylinders on just a shelf behind him. And Neon, you are able to identify this as a very powerful firearm. Peacekeepers do not use it, as it is too dangerous, and their line of work does not entail military grade weaponry. And really, you kind of like, your inner training is like, this guy shouldn't be selling this, but you, Neon, do know this is an antimatter rifle.
Okay, then.
Wait, an antimatter gun?
The gun.
How much?
I believe.
It explodes upon contact with any form of matter.
Next to that, lower on the shelf, you see what appear the same sort of arrangement, like it's almost like a gun got melded with a crossbow. This one a bit smaller, and appears to be more akin to a musket mixed with a lighter crossbow. A much simpler humble design, but nonetheless impressive to those of you who aren't aware of future technology. Neon, you can identify this as a basic laser rifle.
Oh boy.
And finally, what appears to be a modified flintlock pistol with a hand crossbow meshed with it, which basically is a sawn-off variant of the laser rifle, the laser pistol. And again, you just see this like shelf stocked with a few glowing tubes and this kind of slightly, it looks like he had a tan at one point, but it's gradually getting paler as he spends time underground. Elf just watches all of you kind of gaze over the weapons, and he kind of glances back to them before looking back to all of you. You looking to buy?
Yeah.
How did those things work?
It's pretty easy if you know what you're doing. You just load up an energy cell, pull the trigger, and point the business end at the bad guys. And you, big guy, you said you were looking to buy?
Is something that shoots an ammo that he's not going to be likely to get anywhere else.
Yep.
So Caleb's going to decide it's for the best to not work with that. So Faye can ask, are you able to fix weapons here?
Didn't you give your gun?
Yeah, the Peacekeepers already offered you to fix it, although they haven't.
I forgot about that.
Yeah, they haven't returned it to you just yet, but you can easily go grab it whenever you have time.
Never mind then. Caleb's just not going to do anything.
That's fine.
Moved out of the closing. Wow, we're at soup. Have we moved out of the clothing store?
No, this is the gun shop.
Okay, so we have gone into the gun shop. I didn't know if you had like gone to them, like if we separated, or my brain kind of was like, wait.
It's okay. I'm used to it. Don't worry.
I would like to look at their swords and stuff and daggers.
Like I said, you can find. They're not like, it's not like an IKEA. You can't find like an infinite supply of anything you're looking for, but they still a healthy variety if you're just looking to acquire like some for utility.
Imagine if IKEA but weapons.
What is this strong one that is raccoon sized?
There are short swords. The daggers aren't necessarily strong, but they're reliable.
I need something that is stronger than what I have because I can't do shit.
Talking about your pistol.
It's a single shot that I have to reload every time.
And you're not proficient with it.
No.
There are hand crossbows, light crossbows, and short swords.
There's crossbows.
All right.
Yes.
All right. You grab yourself a crossbow and a quiver of bolts. All right.
Oh yeah.
But while you're grabbing that, the shopkeeper looks to you, Gil. You're looking to buy?
Yes. How much is the those 3 guns? I want to get prizes.
5,200 credits each.
Whoa!
Wow.
That seems cheap.
I don't even have the money for that.
That's cheap.
That's how much?
5,200.
Individually or all together?
No.
Well, he said the price for each of the guns, and the guy basically says they're all relatively the same price, which is that.
That's cheap, man.
Would you go any lower?
So, like, is it valuable or not valuable? Because if that's cheap, that's ridiculous. How little?
Well, no, he's saying that's cheap because Austin knows these guns' stats and what they're capable of.
Well, mainly the anti-matter rifle.
There's a reason for it that hasn't been mentioned yet. Trust your DM.
Does it not actually work?
Well, let's find out. Gil, in response to you asking him if he'll go cheaper, he kind of winces a bit and says, there's a fuel cell shortage. I can't just go. I mean, this is a store, not a charity.
But how many people do you have coming in to buy these?
He kind of gives a bit of a smirk and says, my store look fully stocked to you?
Yeah.
Ooh, Rada.
He gives a bit of a smirk and says, I get plenty of business. You're just the latest in a long line. You can't afford it? Find someone who will sell it to you cheaper.
Okay.
I'm gonna walk out of the store. As I walk by, I'm going to try to take my water skin from Raccoon.
Oh my god.
Nope. I skitter away.
Nope.
I skitter away.
Nope.
I skitter away.
Nope.
I see
We're
you
not
coming.
doing this the entire session.
Don't worry, Matt.
Yes, we are.
Don't worry, Matt. I have plans.
No, you don't.
I do.
No, you don't.
You could test me.
Lies. Lies and slander.
So do you want a light crossbow or a hand crossbow, Raccoon?
Again.
One more time?
Say it again.
Light crossbow or hand crossbow? Which one are you looking for?
Which one's stronger?
Light crossbow.
Yes.
Yeah, and crossbows do less damage, but you could do like dual wielding and like that.
All right. So as you grab a full quiver of bolts and one of the lightly used light crossbow, you take it to the counter, and he kind of quickly glances over it and gives you a nod and says, 25 credits. One more time.
I haggle it all.
He kind of gives you a wince and says, I'm already putting the price a bit down since it's a hand-me-down, little lady. I'm sorry you and your friends don't like fair prices.
Ooh.
Rada.
No, it's fine. I just wanted to know because there are other things that I would like to buy as well. But it is fine. I was just asking. Yeah, I'll take that then.
Thanks. And Neon is able to help you negotiate essentially a PayPal transfer. And you now have a light crossbow and 20 bolts.
Oh yeah. It's like it's like a moment of like her being like, "What? What is this, Sonny? How do I do this? Show me."
How do I full screen?
Teacher, you're not full screened.
All right.
What? Where? Where's the button for that? Oh, I exited out. How do I get it back?
Oh, dear Lord. I'm going to break out in hives.
I'm going to break out in hives.
With that, is
you
there any
deal with this all the time, Matthew?
No, it's just familiar. Is there any further business any of you would like to conduct in town before heading towards
like a general store of kinds?
There's a few. There doesn't appear to be necessarily a general store, but there is just shops around that sell various things. The closest you get is like a pawn shop. What are you looking for?
Like, he's looking for like a place that you would buy like things like rations and things like that, like food.
Yeah, easy enough to do.
Things like that he could take on the road.
You have to get a bit of direction from Neon, as most of the food here is meant to be eaten quickly and is not great for travel. But
like fucking McDonald's.
Yeah, basically.
Or like a corner store that has like food and drinks and stuff.
Mm-hmm. But if you're looking for specifically preservables, Neon is able to point you in the direction of such a store. How many rations are you looking to buy?
What do they have? Like, do they have like, what kind of store is it specifically?
Looking around, it's basically almost like it's one of the few more traditional looking stalls, like the kind of thing you're more familiar with seeing set up in various cities. And looking at the elf's garments and just demeanor, it appears that this is one of the surfaced merchants that just comes down here to sell their wares. And they're selling a variety of salted and cured meats and some dried fruit that will last for quite a long time.
And they have like water and drinks and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's the main thing I'm worried about with Caleb. It's just water, because that only lasts 3 days. He's still got 13 days of rations.
All right. Well, if you're looking for, do you want to just top off the water skin you have, or get a new one?
Like that, or if they have any other interesting drinks that exist in this place.
Well, at this specific stall, no. Again, it's just like surface stuff that's being sold for utility. But you can get you can top off your water skin after some deliberation. They offer you the fairly reasonable price of 1 half credit.
Oh, fuck me.
The silver piece, basically.
Okay, I do actually have a silver piece, so I'll just knock that off.
Mm-hmm.
Remove a silver.
And they do a very simple, like from one of their fresh water skins to yours, topping yours off before stowing their used up one away. And if you're done here, allowing you to continue on your way.
Yeah.
I want to look at the short swords too.
Okay.
Looks like they had like a general store, like I mentioned, like because Caleb wouldn't know the concept, but it was like, saying they had stores. You said it was like a city, so I was like, oh, well, they probably have like those, like fucking corner stores and shit like that.
Mm-hmm. Well, yeah, like that's why I'm more saying like you can just say what you're looking for in real life, and I can like give you a nudge in the right direction. I just more don't want to bog down the stream with a grocery list of potential things you can buy.
That's when you just send us the entire store in a document, a Google Doc.
We do have a Google Drive.
Honey, can you Google it to me?
Can you Google it to me?
At that point, Zephyr would be like, all right, I'm gonna leave. I'm gonna go on and have that.
Yeah, and if you want to grab a short sword, it is 10 credits.
Do we have some strong ones for me?
I didn't think they'd have like an actual preserves store and stuff like that.
And
preserve stalls you see in fucking New York.
And the elf kind of pulls their lip back a little bit and just I try to take pretty good care of my stock. That's about the strongest you're gonna get unless you want to start dipping into magic.
Do you have magic things?
No, magical wares aren't super common down here. We prefer to rely on our tech.
I was looking for some magic things, that's why I asked.
That's a little bit disappointing, but it is no fault of yours.
He gives you a bit of a smile, Raccoon, and gives you a nod. 25 credits for the blade. And kind of glancing to you, Lucian, as you ask him, he kind of ponders for a second. Make me a persuasion check.
Ooh. I'm good at those. Okay. Persuasion.
Yes, I would like.
Ooh.
All right, there you go.
Thank you.
Happy to help, little lady. And what'd you get, Lucian?
16.
He kind of debates for a bit internally before shaking his head. Most of the magical fare you'd see down here gets snatched up before it sees these streets. Surface adventurers and whatnot buy it off of the merchants before they come down here.
That's fair. I mean, if you don't have it, you don't have it.
Well, you could always ask around, but...
what would you suggest to ask?
He kind of glances around and kind of bites his lip before leaning forward and says, the person who buys up my stock, I know that they're a little bit of a collector. So if anyone in this town has magic gear, it's probably them. I'm sure you've probably heard their name tossed around by people who don't know how to keep their mouths shut. Mother?
Is there a way to meet this mother?
If she wants to meet with you, she'll find you. But I can pass along a message if you're looking to do business.
That would be really great. My name is Lucian Elefikir, and let her know that I am very interested in meeting with her.
Will do. If you're still alive, come back and see me, and I'll give you an update.
If you're still alive.
Back with you before we leave town.
Sure thing, miss. With that, I believe that's most of the people's business covered. So, Caleb, are you still looking for a corner store?
No, Caleb doesn't know what that is, so I didn't know how the food would be acquired here.
Yeah, basically, like I said, there's a variety of places Neon could point you that's just food that's meant to be grabbed and like eaten as you go.
I was half expecting he was just going to find some place and raid it for chips.
Yeah, and it appears like Lower Edict is mostly like workers just grabbing food and then continuing on their way. You expect things like restaurants, like places where you would grab food and sit down and eat, is more of an Upper Edict thing.
Fair enough. All right, Caleb's got what he needed.
All right. If that's
should we
everyone's bit,
go ahead and go down to the docks.
Okay.
I'll be honest, I was mostly looking for opportunities for Caleb to experience the modern society.
Well, hey, there's still time. But
there's no way to justify it in character. He doesn't know. Like, why would he stop at this little weird shack-looking place?
I mean, like, it's like I always say, like, if it doesn't have to be in character, if it's just really fun and doesn't hurt anyone.
All right, you know what? Fuck it. Caleb just is curious as to what these little stores are.
All right. As you're on the way to the docks, about halfway there.
Or not.
I'm getting you. You
just kind of continued on.
As you walk, you pass by a building much shorter than all the other ones, very squat, but wide and sort of like a rounded rectangular shape. While this whole city is very colorful, you see a variety of bright colors in this building, and you can see a few elves trafficking inside to grab a few things, and you can smell what appears to be like still being prepared food wafting from within, and almost against your better judgment, you almost kind of quietly slip off from the main group walking down the sidewalk to sort of peek your head inside and see just a variety of, again, for what you're used to, this almost blinding, colorful variety of snacks and drinks just lining the shelves.
Okay, I was like, what is this?
You see a somewhat young, almost adolescent-looking for an elf, working the counter, who kind of tilts their head to the side as you poke in. Again, having that kind of glazed expression that most of the elves down here have, and nods to all of it with kind of a raised eyebrow. Looking to buy?
This is going to be interesting. Caleb's just like to Caleb, this is probably just seems excessive.
Yeah.
Like, he's probably never seen so much food in one place. You gotta remember, he was a fucking bandit.
Oh, yeah.
Caleb's just like, oh, I'm just looking at things. Not from around here.
He kind of gives a bit of a shrug and says, well, if you want to grab anything.
You're really trying to do that cracky voice, huh?
Yeah.
You're a teenager.
Yeah.
What is he, like 13?
Well, I said he was an adolescent-looking elf.
My voice stopped cracking after I turned 15 or something.
Well, this guy wasn't so lucky. Yeah. As they say, your experiences are not universal.
Caleb just kind of looks at the things and is like just amazed at all this selection.
kind of like squinting a bit at Caleb and sort of like kind of quietly like, yeah, if I don't get him set up, he's going to be here all day. And rummages through a few machines before plopping what a crinkly bag of something. Caleb has no idea what miracles are contained within, and a small, almost vaguely metallic cylinder on the counter, and says, look, I can just set you up with some travel snacks and a drink, all right?
Okay. How much is it?
3 credits, kid.
Okay. Caleb would give him the 3 credits.
So did we leave him?
Yeah, he basically just kind of slipped inside real quick. Yeah, he'll catch up in a second. He wasn't gone that long. Caleb, you now have essentially a bag of chips and a can of not brand recognized energy drink.
Caleb will step out and I guess just try to find the group, but while he does that, he's gonna like try this stuff he found.
Within the bag, it takes a bit of maneuvering for you to figure out how to get it open. It almost reminds you of like very dried travel rations, but as you taste them, it's just this like explosion of flavors. And as you're catching up with the group on their way to the docks, you take a kind of experimental sip from the can.
It's probably sugary as all get the fuck out.
And basically, but yeah, you guys kind of glance back and see Caleb almost like kind of bouncing as he walked, like going back and forth between a sugary energy drink and like really well dusted chips.
I'm gonna go get some myself.
Oh my god!
Go back.
So they're gonna stop everything and backtrack to this store.
Yes, apparently.
No, I'm not.
Raccoon is like salivating over all of it.
Zephyr is so pissed right now.
Zephyr's not going with them.
Zephyr's like, can we please just do what
Raccoon
we
is
came
just
here
like
to
salivating over the food.
Okay, those of you who want to grab like stuff from Fantasy 7-Eleven, it'll be 3 credits.
Yeah,
okay. Did you actually have a place like this planned? Did you just make it up because I mentioned it?
I'm sorry.
3 credits. I had something set aside.
You said 3 credits.
Which is why I knew where it was going to be.
Can I leave them?
Is it like a moment of like not quite, but is fantasy Costco or how are your dreams come?
It kind of has that vibe to it.
Can I just leave them?
Zephyr, are you wanting to go to the docks because that's where we're going?
Well, I mean, I'm saying I'm gonna leave them to go to the dock. Saying as you go back and to this.
Caleb already has the stuff he got, so he's just gonna go.
Yeah, like the distance isn't super major, and you guys already know what you want, so
Who's in his bean curd?
as Zephyr, Neon, and Caro and Gil are just surrounded by fucking caffeinated and sugar-high party members.
Hey, Caleb got some chips.
Indeed you did.
Like looking at it, he probably like looks at his hands and realizes they're covered in stuff.
It's
like,
stuff
what
on
the
my
hell?
fingers.
It's sticky.
Yeah, it's really gross.
Caleb's like trying to knock it off.
I lick it.
So
Caleb will do the same.
As the two of you do this, while it kind of unpleasantly mixes with the oils of your hands, it is still recognizably the same flavor, and it's tasty in its own way. Very satisfying.
Interesting.
Neon's just like, what have I done?
Neon's probably just dying on the inside.
Zephyr?
What have I allowed to happen?
We're gonna go to the docks now.
Yeah. So it does, again, it's not a huge distance, so you guys are able to regroup pretty easily. Although Zephyr, you do arrive first as the party files in behind you at a place, Neon, you're very familiar with, the docks, quote unquote, of Lower Edict. You guys, the buildings almost kind of give way to this just stretch of concrete, stone, and what looks to be very rotting wood. And you can see docks where presumably would have been going into water, and just those long pillars supporting it. And you can actually see indents in the rotting wood where like undersea creatures and barnacles would have eaten away at it. But instead of going into water, it's just the dirt and stone of the cavern, and you see this expanse of just empty cave that the city has not made use of yet. But Neon, this is very familiar to you as you see lights in the distance that remind you of home. But you're far away, bud.
Are there signs that they are like trying to expand into that area?
And not that you can see. It appears like just simply the city's development hasn't gone out there, but you do see lights in the distance that it appears people are living out there, just very far from the city.
That's like the fucking backwater, quote unquote.
Yeah. Seems like it was water at one point. And you all just kind of take a moment to stare at just this wasteland before you. Before Neon, you're able to
like a very far way down from the wood and stuff.
It's not like insanely like you couldn't get back up far. It's just it's noticeable that like the docks served that function at one point before whatever got the city down here happened. And Neon, you kind of
to bring the docks.
Yeah. And Neon, you usher the group along, and you're all kind of a bit unnerved as the streets that had once been constantly populated by workers or just people traveling around, the docks are empty, a ghost town, not a sign of life or activity in the area.
All you hear is the sound of Caleb crunching on a chip.
As those of you who went back kind of gnaw cautiously on your snacks and very now acutely aware of the noise it makes, as there's nothing but the sound of your footsteps, of Neon's mech, and your own breathing and eating as you walk. But Caro, you notice this most immediately as you're much more attuned to nature. The pollution smell, that kind of ashy chemical smell, is very strong here. And Neon, you know where you're going well enough. You're all escorted to this, what appears to be a warehouse and a chemical plant, but the buildings have just kind of meshed into each other and surrounded on all sides by a barbed wire fence. And you see the only signs of life you've seen here at all. A pair of... They're definitely guards from their posture, but they don't have the peacekeeper uniform or even really a distinct uniform at all. But you notice their outfits are very colorful, like almost like a rainbow that it would stand out less in the city where there's all the bright lights, but out here where it's a lot more drab and less populated, it stands out even more. It's almost like they carried a chunk of the city out here with them. And these two look at you, and as this kind of menagerie approaches, kind of look all of you up and down, not aggressively, just kind of suspiciously. And Lucian, you notice this first, but all of you kind of catch it. They're not wearing masks or anything, so you can see their faces. They're twins.
Yeah. Interesting.
Hello.
Something we can help you with?
Yeah, we're looking for the brokers.
They kind of glare at you and kind of give a sniff, and their eyes kind of rove over all of you before they settle on you, Neon. And they kind of nod. You see the other twin nod their head, and this one speaks up. It's hard to tell at a glance, but this one appears to be female from their voice. They with you, officer?
Right, they are.
What business do you have with the brokers?
What business do you usually get for the brokers?
Got half a mind to smack you.
The woman holds up a hand and says, "It's fine. They're more than capable of taking care of themselves." The two kind of glance to each other, and Officer, I'm sure you've explained to them how things work down here. So can we trust them not to do anything stupid?
If they do, don't answer to me first.
You have our thanks,
Okay.
Officer. You all may enter. And they open the barbed wire fencing with a mechanical creak, and gesture for all of you to enter inside.
Imagine they had a sign on the door that says "No food and drink allowed past this point."
Yeah, no shirt, no shoes, no service.
Yeah, and Gil's like, "Aw." So you all walk, guided by Neon, across this less a garden and more a compound, towards this like this mixture of just industry in building form, and you enter a very simple glass door separating it from the outside, and you find yourself inside a very oppressively drab and undecorated waiting room. A few couches, but somewhat moth-eaten and leathery, scatter around the room almost haphazardly. And at the counter, writing on, not writing, but just typing on a keyboard, you see an elvish woman with long, dark hair tied back in a braid, who looks up as you all enter and blows a bubble of gum before leaning back in her chair. You all here to see the brokers?
Yes.
You have an appointment?
No, we didn't have to do that. We're not from here.
We were kind of told that we could just go ahead and come here. Don't know anything about an appointment. Is it like a doctor's appointment?
Depends on what you're looking for. And she turns around in her seat to grab something on the shelf behind her, and you see an identical elf step into view and lean forward on the counter, and she signs out in sign language, "Names, please."
Do we know sign language?
Well, you should, yes.
Yeah. If you can speak common, then you can have a basic understanding of sign language. It helps me be more inclusive with character design.
I will sign to her. It's good to see another twin. And then I will sign. What did she ask?
Just for your names.
Oh, I will sign my name, Lucian Elefikir.
She gives you a smile and watches your hands move before giving you a very visibly grateful bow.
I just want to say real quick, when it comes to names, unless you are actually part of the deaf community or given a sign name, otherwise you're finger spelling the names.
I assume that was the case.
Yeah, just saying. For like those either listening in or those that didn't know about that.
Yeah, just interesting trivia fact. She gives a nod, and you watch as she almost like steps in perfect synchronization as her sister turns to face all of you again. And now that you know the other sister is there, you can actually see her back to back with her, mimicking her motions so perfectly that if you didn't know she was there, you wouldn't be able to pick out that there's someone standing behind her. As the woman chewing on gum leans forward again. And the rest of you?
What'd they say? I'm sorry.
They're just asking for your names.
Do you want me to give everybody's name?
For the sake of brevity, does anyone want to give a specific pseudonym or refuse to give a name altogether?
I am Raccoon.
Caleb.
I will sign. I will point to Raccoon and I will sign Raccoon.
I will tell them my name.
Garo, Gil?
Gero will say Gero, and then introduce Gero.
He's a cute little kitty.
As everybody introduces themselves, Luciana's interpretation with sign language.
I think they can hear us, right?
Yeah, they seem to be able to hear you fine. They just
but I'm just doing it out of respect because.
No, yeah, that's fair. I was just more noting it, so you don't feel like you have to. Gil and Neon, any pseudonym or refusal to give names, or are you just introducing yourself?
You'll never get anything from me. I spit out a tooth. No, okay. No, I'll give him.
We didn't even hit you
yet.
Okay.
He says he gets his name.
Okay. She gives a slow nod, and you see her typing very rapidly on her keyboard. And she turns to grab something else behind her, and you see the signing twin behind her back, who gives you all a polite smile and a bow before turning as the sister turns back around to press the button in front of her and speaking into.
When the one sister turns around, I'm gonna quickly sign to the other one. You're cute.
She blows you a kiss before turning to disappear from your vision as her sister turns around. And as she blows another bubble of gum and holds down a button and speaks into almost what appears to be like a simple metal tube on the desk in front of her. Mr. Broca, and Mr. Broca, you have visitors. And she rattles off all of your names before lifting her finger from the button.
Oh, no.
It's a law firm?
Aren't they?
Oh, no.
What?
I think it appears they've just realized what the gimmick here is.
Oh, no. Oh, no.
The woman gestures to the moth-eaten couches. The brokers will be right with you. You can have a seat for now.
Can't. I have too much energy. Is it okay if I just pace?
Standing ain't a crime. Do whatever you want. And she turns around to grab something, and you see the other sister, who gives you all a wave and gives a bow before just watching you all as her sister rummages through the shelves.
Sign to her. Who is older?
She kind of tilts her head and gives a very small smile before pointing over her shoulder.
Plot twist, the other sister. The other sister doesn't know she exists. She's been standing behind her for so long. Who is that behind you? What are you talking about?
That reminds me of this story about a lady that apparently had an after image, what was it, the 1800s, and people kept saying that there was an after image of her that followed her everywhere, and she never saw it.
Okay. Well, in the waiting room, I am going to start pacing because I have a lot of energy. I'm drinking my energy drink.
And Gil's gonna keep flirting with the younger twin.
Yeah, your coffee.
All right. I'll say for the hell of it, make me a persuasion check.
Ooh, persuasion check, Jared. He's getting out his thing.
Mm-hmm. Getting ready to flirt. What's up, Carol?
Carol's kind of pondering, rubbing her chin. Just so, how many siblings do they have words for?
Nice.
Wait, let's see how this
got
plays
a
out.
natural 20.
Oh, nice. She responds well enough to your flirting, and eventually she does give you her name, Delilah.
Delilah.
And unlike her sister, who has very bright ruby lipstick and very colorful makeup, she's basically, it's almost like a goth prep dynamic between the two.
Mm-hmm.
But as Caro speaks up, she gives you a bow and a wink, Gil, as she turns around for her sister to face Caro as she leans forward and. What do you mean?
Well,
a lot of twins.
Well, at my home, entire generations born at once.
She kind of glances at her fingernails and just, well, there's twins for when there's two of them. Triplets like the Brocas. there's quadruplets, and I've even heard of it going all the way up to 8 of them.
Oh my goodness! I have a twin brother.
She gives you a smile. Well, you'd fit right in here.
Dude couldn't pull out of a driveway.
She kind of just taking turns with her sister, just kind of makes small talk with all of you. Does anyone have anything they'd like to ask either of these two before the brokers arrive?
Yeah, I'm going to.
But the brokers only hire twins.
She gives you a bit of a smile. It's a bit of a habit of theirs. They like to keep things in the family metaphorically, but obviously you can only do so much with so many hands. So they like to think of it as all of us being one big extended family.
Actually, really nice.
She gives a smile. I do love working for them. They're so handsome.
I can't wait to meet them.
Oh, you're gonna love them. They're delightful. And who else was asking anything?
I was gonna assign to the one that I'm flirting with. What time do you get off?
Oh my god.
As the sister turns around to grab another stick of gum to replace hers, you're faced with the goth twin again, Delilah, and she gives you a grin and a wink and says, and signs out, whenever someone satisfies me.
Oh my god.
What did they say?
Gil asked, when does she get off?
What did she say?
Whenever someone satisfies me.
Damn. Caleb's just like, gross.
How about tonight?
She kind of tilts her head to the side and signs out, rain check. I'll get back to you.
Damn. Rejected.
Oh, you see, you're like a brother to me, you know?
You got rejected.
To be fair, she was more just saying, like, basically try again later.
Yeah, and also, you've known each other for 30 seconds.
Yeah.
You failed the dating
Gil's
game.
not very good at this. He's coming on too strong.
Dating
and
He really does.
the relative silence of the waiting room outside of you guys pacing and rummaging is broken by and both twins turn and sling their arms over each other's shoulders to lean forward as a door opens. However, you do not see an elevator. Thankfully, you just see a set of stairs. And stepping out, you see an elf. Specifically, you see
an elf. Lucian.
Yeah. Every elf is Lucifer until proven otherwise. You see a very big and broad light elf with red hair tied back in a ponytail, but you can see as the ponytail gets down to like just under his waist, it starts to kind of fray, like he hasn't really taken care of his hair. His skin's incredibly pale, and you can see very visibly that they're wearing eyeliner and lipstick. But it just like contributes to them like looking well despite seeming to not place a lot of personal care in their hygiene. And they their hands are behind their back and they kind of look over all of you before their face breaks out in a wide smile. It's very rude. And he kind of licks his lips a little bit. To ask to see us without making an appointment first.
The commissioner guy said we just come here.
Yeah, we were not told of any way of making some kind of appointment. It is our apology.
Oh, well, if the commissioner says so, I mean, he definitely works here, so he gets to call the shots. I suppose I should tell my older brother that he's not the one in charge now, huh?
I quite agree.
It's a joke. I'm messing with you.
Lucian just kind of like awkwardly chuckles.
Come upstairs.
Yeah, we are sorry to bother, but we did pretty much just arrive. We don't necessarily know like everything down here. It's pretty confusing. It's big.
It's fine, it's fine. I mean, what do you think we keep these lovely ladies around for if not to tell us when guests are coming so we can make ourselves presentable? And he kind of tugs at the bright purple jacket slung over his shoulders.
Very, very good color for you.
I like to think so. Goes with my hair. And he kind of licks his palm before dragging it back over his scalp.
And he's a greaser.
I kind of like flip my hair a little bit, my white red hair, and just go, yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah, he kind of gives you a smile. All right, come on. Oh, and if you guys are here to take our stuff, I'll kill you.
Neon just like, shoot.
just being clear.
Just the image of like, he says this as like Raccoon is about to poke like a vase or something, and she just like kind of skitters back, just like, wasn't thinking.
And with that, he gestures, and you can see he walks with a very awkward, stiff posture, almost like it's like he's walking with the posture of someone trying to puff their chest out, but it appears to just be how he naturally moves around. And as he turns and waits for you guys to follow him, you can see he licks his lips incredibly frequently, and you imagine under that lipstick they're probably rather chapped.
Please, I have a hairdryer blowing on my face constantly. my face is a few minutes away from turning into a desert. Set me free.
Well, I follow.
Yeah.
Here we go.
We'll go in.
Here we go.
Here we go.
And,
Here we go.
Here we go.
and with that, this elf, presumably one of the brokers from what he said, begins to lead you guys upstairs. The staircase is grimy and drab and very poorly cleaned. And as he walks up, I'm sorry about the mess. We weren't expecting any company. But rest assured, I may not be clean, and the stairs may not be clean, but our info's good. And he kind of licks his lips and gives a wink.
Well, I guess only time will tell that, won't it?
He kind of stops dead on one of the stairs and glances back to you, and you can see his eyes kind of glinting a bit and says, I wouldn't say that in front of my brother. He gets a little cranky whenever you imply that his information's not good.
It's fair enough. Thank you for the warning.
I'm full of a lot of good stuff. And he kind of like pats his chest.
Full of ventricles.
He gives a wide smile before continuing up the stairs. Do any of you have anything for this particular broker, whichever one of the presumed triplets he may be?
Well, he's not the boss, so no.
Got organs coming out of my ears.
I told you guys I was going to really love playing the brokers. This is why.
I like this guy. He seems like a fun guy to go drinking with.
Oh, and this isn't even my favorite of the brokers to play, although I do love playing him a lot.
I'm waiting for the one who's like the Phoenix Wright lawyer.
Objection!
Yeah, just screams objection every sentence.
Or wait, what is it? Nagi from Danganronpa?
I don't know either one.
Also, Kara, are you good? You've been quiet.
Yeah, Kara's just listening.
Okay.
She just
chill. Have we not understood that by now?
I'm just making sure. I don't. Like I said before we started, I don't want anyone feeling left out. All right. So he leads all of you up the stairs, and it's a pretty healthy walk before finally you come to another set of similar doors to the ones below.
Okay, but Raccoon is too tiny for that amount of stairs. Probably Caleb and Zephyr is too. So Raccoon is gonna catch a ride on Gil.
All right. And he looks back at all of you and gives another smile before planting. And rather than the usual handprint scanner, you see what appears to be a simple metal, not quite a disc, almost just like a brick of metal of sorts, but very narrow and slim, sticking out of the wall. And he pulls his sleeve back and pulls his almost surgical gloves lower onto his palm, revealing a matching indention in his wrist that he plants onto this metallic device, and the doors open, and he pulls the sleeve and glove back down to cover it and kind of shakes his palm a little bit as the doors open. Age before beauty. And then simply walks in ahead of all of you.
Joe just kind of bounds next to him. Just, does that hurt?
Yeah, you get used to the agonizing pain after the first few times.
Ouch.
Every moment I live is agony.
It's a security measure. Like I said, we don't want anyone trying to walk out with our stuff. Nothing in here works without this. Then he pats his wrist.
Cue the song Agony in the distance. Agony!
Nothing works around this thing that's on my wrist. Okay, so no wrist? Question mark?
To be fair, you don't know how it works.
I don't know.
Yeah.
It's like...
And you guys enter, Caro following closely behind the broker as the rest of you file in. Lucian, you're almost drooling. As while you don't see books in the traditional sense, you do see that distinctive, almost aesthetic air of information. As you see shelves going like deep into just like darkness beyond what you can even see, lined with, again, not books, but you can see tubes with labels in Elvish written on them, with similar metallic bricks inside each, just lining the walls. And in the center of it all, you see this luxurious looking fireplace with a fire currently stoked and blossoming, and off, like kind of offbeat from the fireplace, you see this metallic wall of monitors, screens displaying all sorts of things in such rapid fire motion your eyes can't even like really catch any one individual thing before it's moved on to the next. And you see two more elvish figures occupying this little living lobby area. Sitting in front of these monitors is another elf. You see that their red hair is not tied back or collected in any way, simply growing wildly, and you can see knots and patches of it missing, and it's filthy and unwashed, just draped over the back of the chair they're sitting in and down onto the floor as they just stare unmoving at all the monitors. You can't see their face, you can't see what they're doing, but you can see visible pockmarks on their skin as if disease has been slowly eating away at their flesh. And as the broker who's been leading all of you pats his chest, he says, "Boys, we got company." You see a final elf stand up from one of the very luxurious looking couches, a glass of wine held in one hand as they turn to look at all of you. You see a third elf, this one, their hair tied back in a braid underneath a very wide-brimmed hat, and dark rounded glasses covering their eyes as they barely moving. You can just feel their gaze flicking over each of you as they simply stand there like a statue.
Is it like sunglasses?
Is this
sort of, but not quite.
Like,
and
Lucian's like eyes is like going everywhere, and she's like, "Is this heaven?"
Heaven.
The elf in the hat speaks up. "Well, I don't hold any opinions on whether this is heaven or not, but if information is as valuable to you as it is to us, then I imagine it's the closest approximation you're going to get."
Ronald Weasley.
I'm trying to tune more into Hannibal Lecter for this character.
No, give us Snape.
Ronald Weasley.
Snape. Severus Snape. Dumbledore.
This elf steps forward and holds out another surgically gloved hand to each of you, and For those of you who take the handshake, he tips his hat. But again, it's these very robotic and like slow, deliberate move. None of it feels natural. It feels very rehearsed and scripted as he moves. And as he shakes the hands of those of you who accept it, steps back and kind of twirling the wine in the glass a bit. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. You've of course met my brother, and myself.
My brother, and me. Well,
First name?
the McElroys.
Lucian, at your question, he gives a very slow nod. Yes, I am Ledger Broker. The one who had escorted you up the stairs gives a nod. Oh, totally forgot. How rude of me. Name's Red. And the one in the hat with the wine in his hand gestures towards the one in the chair. And this is our youngest, Marcus.
Hello.
I am Lucian.
Yes, we know who you are. He takes a sip of the wine. One more time, your mic was a little muffled.
Fred, we did tell them our names before we came in.
Yes, sometimes information is freely given instead of discovered.
Well, if you guys are as good as we heard, you probably already knew who I was anyways.
The three of them don't say anything, but after a pause, the one in the hat, Ledger, looking down at their wine before their head, again, almost imperceptibly tilts back up to look at all of you. I don't imagine you've come here to get something for nothing. What do you want?
Yes, we each have questions, possibly information that, maybe you need. Maybe you don't already have it, we don't know. But
I highly doubt that surface dwellers have anything we don't already, but I'm willing to entertain you. You know my price if you don't.
So, I mean, not to the extent.
So we thought maybe we could talk about what you guys would want from us, and then we would ask you our questions.
Of course. Come, sit. He sits back down on the couches and allows all of you to sit if you wish, or simply stand and watch.
He was probably going to stand. He fell asleep.
One more time.
Jeremy fell asleep, so I'll be a pilot.
It's okay. We were going to end soon anyway.
I'll pilot.
Yeah, I thought you were going to end with introducing them, but okay.
So for Gil,
let the DM end when it feels appropriate.
Yeah. So for Gil, I'll have him standing, probably at ease.
Okay.
At ease.
Caro, the rest of you?
Soldier.
Yeah,
Garrow
I guess we'll sit
stand
with
and
Joe.
hold Garrow back from his intense need to tear up this.
I'll just be standing in the corner.
Do you feel uncomfortable around us, officer?
I'm just staying out of their way. They're the ones who need to talk to you.
Your good sense has been noted. Oh, and as for your filthy beast, rest assured the furniture in this room is just as replaceable as you are.
What?
That could either be an insult or a compliment.
I mean, that doesn't sound like a... It basically sounds like he's willing to kill us or not.
It sounds like a threat.
Yeah.
Don't worry. It's more that I don't want him to tear up more couches.
It's not a habit you should learn.
As you wish. Now, and he leans back in the chair, and his brother almost like hops and kind of energetically bounces next to him. The two could not be more different for 2 out of 3 triplets. As the one with the wine glass leans forward. So, you wanted to talk? Let's talk. And that is where we're going to end tonight's session.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ah!